incredible players. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. A lot to do today. Our friend Jake Crain, a.k.a. J-Boy, a.k.a. our side piece, will be here next hour. Will Blackwell in hour number 3. Talk a little LSU spring practice as the Tigers hit the practice field for the first time on Saturday. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Admittedly, there are not many days where we're going to start the show with a story about the University of Texas raising football season ticket prices. Now, bear with me, okay? I understand that that's not the thing that's usually going to grab you. A lot of you come here for LSU football or Saints, or in this instance, even LSU basketball playing Kentucky today, or the baseball team who's ranked number 1 in the country. A lot of things. Texas raising football tickets is usually not where I'm going to start, but I promise you there's a reason why I think it's relevant, okay? And it's relevant to all of us, no matter who you cheer for or what sport you love or anything like that. So a little background real quick. Texas is raising football season ticket prices $13 a game. As Chris Del Conte, the AD there, announced, they try to meet rising costs. Remember, Texas just recently reported $332 million in operating revenue. That's the first time any school had ever gone over $300 million in a single year. They also spent $325 million. So, despite the fact that they generated $332 million in revenue, Texas netted $7 million. That's not good. Like if you're a $300 million business and you're netting 7, that's not good. Typically, you want to be at you're at a 20% net margin, pretty good 30%, you're rocking. So think of it as a $300 million business. If you were netting $60, $70 million, it's about where you'd want to be. They're at 7. What that underscores is how fiscally irresponsible college athletics are. I promise there's a big picture story coming here. But everyone, even Texas, which generated $300 million in revenue a year ago, everyone is feeling the crunch and tightening the belt. Understand that at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium, which seats 100,119 at capacity, increasing ticket sales by $13. If they had a season sellout, that would be an extra $1.3 million per year over the course of 7 or 8 home games. You're talking about roughly $7 to $10 million in revenue. I'm ballparking here. Okay. When you are generating $332 million in revenue, $10 million is a drop in the bucket, relatively speaking. But every single athletic department, even Texas, all of them are feeling the crunch of 2 things primarily. Revenue share with your student athletes, because look, if you're generating $332 and spending $325, and then all of a sudden in 1 year, somebody comes in and says, hey, we're adding a $20.5 million line item to your budget. You got to find $20.5 million to pay your athletes. All of a sudden, Texas got to do one of two things: increase revenue, decrease expenses. You got a surplus of $7 million. You're going to go add another 7 to 10 by the ticket, raising football ticket prices. Good time to do it. Back-to-back playoff appearances. Okay, that gets you close, but you're still not there. You still got to cut from your budget. The point is, every single athletic department is having to do this. There was a recent audit of LSU's athletic department. Last year, LSU spent $1.9 million in buyouts for the football, baseball, and men's golf staffs. $1.9 million that you're just setting a match to. Paying coaches not to be employed by you anymore. Team travel last year at LSU, men's basketball spent $1.7 million on travel. Women's basketball spent $1.9 million on travel. All the other sports, not football, all the other sports combined that all lose you money, spent $5.8 million on travel. Charter air, nice hotels, charter buses to and from. Guess what's about to stop? Oh, did we mention also that now that scholarship limits have been increased, notably in football? That's another giant expense coming on board as well, because scholarships for student athletes that's not deferred payment. The athletic department has to make those payments to the university. That's not just waived tuition. The athletic department has to pay the university for that tuition. And that's a gigantic number. So even Texas is feeling it. But I'm going to tell you why this is awesome, because I know what a lot of people are saying. And oh, by the way, today, there's an ACC program that cut 30 swimmers. Cut 30 swimmers. Scholarship athletes, sorry, you're no longer a scholarship swimmer at our university anymore. Y'all. What we've talked about here for a long time is coming to fruition. It is the financial Armageddon of college athletics. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that cutting 30 swimmers at an ACC school is a good thing. I think opportunities for young people to be able to get an education and compete is generally a good thing. However, the reason we are at this point is because of the gross fiscal incompetence of the adults for decades now, who have consistently and continuously tried to find ways to make college athletics bigger and bigger and bigger business without ever looking at the student athletes and saying, what share should Joe Burrow get in this? This amazing national championship run in 2019 that LSU had, all the attention, all the money made as a result of that, and Burrow gets nothing? Angel Reese gets nothing? Well, actually, she did, because NIL was already a thing at that point. Tim Tebow, the 4 years he was at the University of Florida, all the attention and money they brought into that university as they continued scaling that athletic department. Nick Saban, all the years he was in Tuscaloosa, all the players that came and won championships and literally saw that university see its enrollment grow, the buildings physically on the campus grow on the backs of that football program, and the adults kept spending. They kept building bigger and bigger business. And now, chickens have come home to roost. I mean, this is what this is. You built a giant business. You spent money you didn't have. You spent wastefully, and now you're having to tighten the belt. And it's a great thing. There is no way on earth that LSU women's basketball, with respect, should be spending $1.9 million on their travel expenses. There's just no way. The other sports combined at $5.8 million in travel expenses. Programs that lose money and you're spending millions of dollars for them to travel, put them on a bus. They stay at the Holiday Inn. That's what you do. enough of charter air, enough of staying at the Embassy Suites or at the Marriott. No. Like, tighten the belt. Be fiscally responsible. You can do it. But it's the adults in the room who caused this problem, this mess. The reason 30 swimmers got cut in an ACC program today, the adults in the room. They continued to milk fans for every dollar they could get, taking advantage of their loyalty for their team, and continue to spend and overspend gratuitously have led you to this point. Because finally, the student athletes said, man, y'all making all this money? Where's our cut? Which they deserve, by the way. And now the people who have been spending irresponsibly for decades have to figure out how to fix it. I'll be curious to see. I'm sure to bring this full circle, I'm sure the Texas fans are going to spend the $13 extra per ticket. I'm sure they will. They got a lot of money there. Back-to-back playoff appearances. Arch is the quarterback now. Preseason top 10, probably top 5 team. I'm sure they'll spend it. Oh, go have that first 7-5 season. See how that goes over. Financial Armageddon is here, y'all. It's just starting. Because, mark my words, that story, Texas increasing ticket sales for football, an ACC program cutting 30 swimmers, you're going to start seeing that every day. But like now through RevShare, you're going to start to see in headlines every day the net result of revenue share and having to cut expenses to pay for all this mess that they made. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because finally the adults in the room are going to be held responsible. And they should be. Mark my words. Okay, it's after further review. Hey, countdown is on. You got 47 minutes. The S&P Rare Whiskey Raffle is tonight. S&P on Nicholson. There's more than 60 bottles if you're a whiskey fan or know someone who is. $10 a ticket, puts you in the drawing. You can buy online for 47 more minutes until 4 Central. 4 Central, the online ticket sales cut off. I got the link on my Twitter. I got the link on my Facebook. You go to the S&P Facebook. I think Fred's in Tigerland has it as well. I'll be heading over there as soon as AFR is over to Fred's in Tigerland to do the drawing virtually on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube and Facebook page. So we'll see you at Fred's tonight. You can buy tickets at Fred's all the way up until 6:15. But if you want to buy online, you could be anywhere, by the way. You don't have to be in Baton Rouge. You can buy online. You don't have to be present to win. You have 46 minutes now to buy your tickets. All right, it's after further review. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Might have me an ice-cold Bud Light over at Fred's tonight while we do that raffle. Sounds like a plan. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Yesterday, we found out the Saints are hiring a former NFL head coach. We talked about it a smidge with Mike Triplett, but I want to give you my take on Scott Linehan joining the New Orleans Saints. That's next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Big shout out to Derek Duplessis over at Duplessis Builders. Great local business. Builds beautiful pools, outdoor kitchens, your outdoor spaces. Of course, tell you all the time, has his engineering background and uses that to give you the 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year because they'll never cut corners. But the other thing I love about Duplessis as well, good ethical people committed to the local community. During football season, we got to do our sit-downs with Kyron Lacey and Harlem Berry. Duplessis Builders did the NIL deals with those guys. A couple weeks ago, we had Jacob Myers in studio. Myers, a kid from Santa Maria, went to Nichols, now is transferred into LSU. Derek, being a Santa Maria guy as well, was happy to do that NIL deal with a local guy to help raise his profile, make a little money, and help the business as well. Giving back to the community. And by the way, they'll build you a gorgeous pool that will last. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All the parade's off the street by now? Didn't they already say like everybody would be out the road by like noon or something like that?
Yeah, I think they actually all wrapped up.
Yeah, they're all done.
I think it started at like 6:30 this
Get
morning.
out of here! Ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
There you go.
Get out of here. Get your beads and get home. Sort through all the crap that you don't want. Put it in a bag. It'll sit in your attic for another year. All the work you did to get those crappy beads. I don't know. Effort don't really feel like it's worth the payoff. You know what I mean?
You could always recycle them and use them for other Mardi Gras if you're going to ride or you know someone who's going to ride.
Right. It's, again, nothing you want actually to keep. I'm going to proudly display my plastic crap. No. Good. Just going to put it in a bag in the attic. So you throw it to someone else. Anything of value you've ever gotten, you said, you know what, this is so valuable, I'm going to put it in the attic until I have an opportunity to give it away to someone else for free.
Not yet in my life.
No, because that's not a thing that happens in real life. Yeah. Except with Mardi Gras, right?
Hey,
we eat cinnamon rolls with sprinkles on it, and everybody calls it a king cake.
So good.
You act like it's anything more than a cinnamon roll that you can get at any bakery any other day. You go stand on the side of the road, aching to get crappy beads that nobody actually really wants. It's a really perplexing thing, this Mardi Gras. I don't really get it.
It's a blast, though.
Nope. 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 The Endymion Ball. That's blast.
That's part of Mardi Gras.
But that's just a party. That's not Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras, the going to the side of the road and sitting in a bag chair and waiting, fighting crowds, parking a mile away, you don't have anywhere to pee, risking your life running in front of floats to catch crappy beads and pick up the balloons off the ground. Like, what are we doing?
Having fun. Just living life, man. Yeah. The spirit. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll just work. I'll just work on Tuesday. I'm good. Just Tuesday. I am wearing a Mardi Gras shirt. Shout out to Alon Apparel.
Oh.
It's NOLA backwards. Guys, send me the shirt. It's a Mardi Gras shirt. Can you tell? It's like the little pattern. It's like a little marching band guy. Little guy with an umbrella. Maybe like a little someone twirling something.
It's basically a second line, basically.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. Kind of. A little baton. Maybe bass drum. Let's go with the bass drum.
Okay.
Bass drum on his belly. Nice shirt. Shout out. All right, countdown's on. 39 minutes. Do you have the countdown clock from a few weeks ago? Can you bring that back? That'd be fun. 39 minutes to buy your tickets for the S&P Rare Whiskey Raffle. It's coming up, y'all. To buy your tickets online, I should say. They cut off ticket sales for all the proceeds benefiting St. Lillian Academy and Baton Rouge Ancient Athletes Society. Again, raffle tonight, 6:30 at Fred's in Tigerland, but you have until 4 p.m. 4 p.m. to buy your tickets. Matter of fact, Paulie, look, here, pull this up. There's the QR code. Pull the QR code up on the screen. Just scan that QR code right there. If you're watching on YouTube, WBTR, scan the QR code. You can buy your tickets right there. You buy your ticket for 38 more minutes. Countdown's on 38 more minutes. $10 ticket. All the proceeds benefiting St. Lillian Academy. Special needs school where my son goes. That's why I'm bullish about it. Happy to help. And I love whiskey as well. And Baton Rouge Ancient Athletes. Paul, you didn't leave it up long enough. I know normally I tell you to leave it up and take well, but like in this instance, people have to go scan the QR code, so you have to leave the code up on the screen longer. I gotta shorten my headphones. All right, thank you. That's good. Thank you. That's enough. That's enough. Thanks. Okay. All right. There's a report on Monday that the New Orleans Saints are adding Scott Linehan to the staff, and Nick Underhill had it first. I really like this a lot. With Kellen Moore, you have a young head coach who is surrounding himself primarily with coaches that will compensate for his deficiencies. Now, I think every coach probably does that, right? Like, whatever you do really well, you're going to find assistants that make up for your deficiencies. If you're a really good offensive coach, then naturally you're going to go find someone who can run the defense. If you're a defensive-minded head coach, you better go find that really good offensive coach, strong play calling background, all that stuff. Well, there's two things I think primarily that Kellen Moore is focused on when you look at how he has assembled this staff. Number one, he's gotten guys on staff that he knows that he works well with them. Brandon Staley, hired him in L.A. with the Chargers. Doug Nusmeier, we know they've been working together since 2018. Paganetti, who they brought over from Philly. They were on staff this year together, work well together, bring him over. There's familiarity. So that's one, familiarity. Number two is veteran coaches as well. I mean, Kellen Moore is a head coach for the first time. You now have two former NFL head coaches on your staff, in Brandon Staley and Scott Linehan. Remember, Linehan was the head coach of the Rams in the 2000s. Not very successful, it's worth mentioning. 06 to 08, he was 11-25 and never got another opportunity, but still has been a head coach in the NFL. So Grady Brown as well, who's hadn't been a head coach, but a veteran defensive coach, coaching defensive backs with the Steelers this past year, is now coming over. Nusmeier hasn't been, Doug hasn't been a head coach, but he's been an offensive coordinator. He's been in the game for a long time. So there's familiarity and there's experience, which I think will serve Kellen Moore really well, both those things. The Linehan piece is interesting because Linehan's 61 years old. And, we were talking about it yesterday because you kind of forgot where Scott Linehan went. He was an analyst at LSU. Forgive me, it wasn't an analyst. He was the passing game coordinator at LSU in 2020. Remember, Joe Brady was the passing game coordinator in 2019. Brady goes to the Panthers. Well, Ed Ogeron hires Scott Linehan to replace Joe Brady. So you got a former NFL head coach on staff, which felt like a major coup at the time. But after that, he hasn't had an on-field coaching job since. He went to Missouri for 3 seasons as an analyst, and this year was at Montana as an analyst. And we were talking about it yesterday off air, like, why Montana? Why would you go be an analyst at Montana? Surely a former NFL head coach would have better opportunities. And so maybe he just likes Montana. I mean, I caught up with Austin Nola when he was in town a few weeks back for the Grizzly Greats induction over at Catholic High. Austin Nola lives in Montana. He's still playing professional baseball, but he and his family decided to go move to Montana. Big piece of land, beautiful country, all that sort of stuff. So, to each their own. Linehan was born in Washington, went to college in Idaho, coached high school in Oregon. He's basically from the Pacific Northwest. So the Montana piece actually makes a little bit of sense there. But he was a college coach from 89 to 01, jumped into the NFL in 02, and he was in the NFL from 02 to 2018 with the Vikings, Dolphins, Rams, where he was the head coach, then went to the Lions and the Cowboys, which is where he overlaps with Kellen Moore. So when Kellen Moore was a quarterback with the Cowboys in 14, 15, 16, 17, they overlapped. Moore retires from his playing career, immediately becomes a coach on the Cowboys staff as the quarterback's coach in 2018. Linehan was the OC at that time. So Linehan coached Kellen Moore, and then when Moore became a coach, he coached quarterbacks under Scott Linehan. So they have good synergy together, having worked together both as coach, player, and then on the same staff together for a season in Dallas. And then I mentioned the college route back with LSU, and then in the COVID year, which was just a disaster, and then Mizzou, and then Montana. What I will be curious about is what Scott Linehan's role will be on this Saints staff, because you now have 3 veteran offensive play callers. I mean, Kellen Moore qualifies as a veteran offensive play caller. I mean, he has been calling plays in the NFL as a offensive coordinator since 2019 in Dallas. So those years in Dallas, then in LA with the Chargers, this past year with the Eagles, that's 3 different teams since 2019. I mean, 6 seasons where Kellen Moore has been calling plays. So he is a veteran NFL play caller. Doug Nusmeier is a veteran NFL play caller. And Scott Linehan is a veteran NFL play caller. So you got 3 of those. So you're not bringing him on staff, Linehan, to call plays or to be your offensive coordinator. We know that's Nusmeier. And I don't know that you're having him work with the quarterbacks, because that's probably also Kellen Moore and Doug Nusmeier. So I'm really not sure what role Scott Linehan's going to play on staff. But it feels like they can figure that out however they need to adjust a title. This really feels like Kellen Moore went to a guy that he has a great relationship with, trusts, high offensive acumen, NFL acumen, said, hey, I need you to come down here and be a resource for me. We'll figure out the title, what position group you're working with at practice, all that stuff. But to be in the building, to be an ear that I can bend, and to be someone that can help us game plan week in and week out through the grind of a 17-game NFL season, I need you. We'll figure out the details later. And Linehan said, okay. I think that's really cool. It speaks to that. And I don't think that's necessarily something that's unique to this situation. I think that's actually pretty common in the NFL. I mean, just look at Sean Payton's tenure in New Orleans, like how long Pete Carmichael was there. Guys like Joe Vitt. I mean, he had these chief lieutenants that were with him for a long time. Darren Rizzi. Now look at Peyton going to Denver, and he's bringing all these guys with him. So you do have those synergies in the NFL with guys who are just, they're never going to be coordinators or don't have ambition to be head coaches, but they're really good NFL assistants that want that role. And I guess it's sort of the self-aware component that Dennis Allen maybe lacked, that I always said. I mean, the line I use so often about Dennis Allen, you'll heard me say, was not every lieutenant was meant to be a general. Dennis Allen's a great defensive coordinator in the NFL, was not meant to be a great head coach. He's just not. He's not a good head coach. He's failed in 2 stints now. He's just not good at it. That's okay. He's a great defensive coordinator. Do the thing you do really well. And some coaches recognize that. It would appear as though Doug Nusmeier recognizes that. It would appear as though Scott Linehan recognizes that. So go to a place where you're not hired to try to take the head coach's job. You're hired to be a resource and to be a valuable asset on staff. And it feels like that's what Scott Linehan is. And that's kind of the staff that Kellen Moore has assembled here in New Orleans. I like the staff. I do. I think he's done a really good job. On paper, I see the path he's following assembling the staff. And it feels like he's made a lot of good hires. The bigger question, though, is, will you have the talent? And I don't think you can answer that to the affirmative today. I don't even think we're going to be able to answer that to the affirmative after free agency and the draft. It may be a couple of years before you get to the point where you have a roster where you can compete. But what you can control in this interim is putting a staff together. And I think Kellen Moore's done a good job, and Scott Linehan's part of that. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore. You've been out at the parade. You need to hydrate, because some of y'all got to hydrate after being at Mardi Gras for all Mardi Gras weekend, right? Make sure you get Evamore, E-V-A-M-O-R, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com. That's Evamore.com. You can buy it online in bulk, or you can go to great local retailers. Even if you're outside of Louisiana, Evamore they're a Louisiana company that has national distribution. So even if you live outside of Louisiana, you're listening online, watching online, thank you for that, by the way. Just go to the website, Evamore.com, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com. When you hit the drop-down menu, you can see the Find a Store button, and you hit the store locator where it says Find a Store, type in your zip code, and it'll pop up the stores nearest you where you can go buy Evamore. So great local retailers or online, Evamore.com, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. 28 minutes left. Only 28 minutes in. You won't have to hear me do this anymore. 28 minutes left to buy your tickets online for the S&P Mardi Gras Mambo Rare Whiskey Raffle going down 2 days, 6:30 p.m. at Fred's in Tigerland. You can buy your tickets at Fred's up until 6:15, but you can buy tickets online only for another 28 minutes. Again, the link is on my Facebook. It's on my Twitter. It's on the S&P Facebook. Let me pull up, Paulie, the QR code again. There you go. If you're watching YouTube, WBRP, there's the QR code. Scan the QR code to buy your tickets. $10 a ticket. More tickets you buy, the more money you spend, the more tickets they give you. So, like, if you buy 10, if you spend $100, they give you 12 tickets. Spend $200, they give you 25 tickets. But anyway, have a chance to win the right to purchase a rare whiskey at fair retail value and support some great charities. St. Lillian Academy and Baton Rouge Ancient Athletes. Okay, that's good. I can only take so much. I love 24, greatest TV show in the history of TV. But I can only take so much of that. What? Like, usually when you're hearing the 24 clock at the end of the segment, like, it's only like 3 or 4 seconds. It's like counting down from 4 to 3, 2, 1. So you only hear for like 3 or 4 seconds. Hearing it for like a minute is a bit excessive.
Yeah, but the 3 to 4 seconds thing, that wouldn't work for what we're doing, though.
Maybe 5 or 6 seconds.
Maybe.
All right, it's After Further Review. We'll go around the SEC next. Stick around.
After Further Review.
Right about the Watermark Hotel, Renaissance Hotel, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Road. You know right where it is, Renaissance Baton Rouge. And when you go to Renaissance, I actually saw one of their Facebook posts today. They have so much fun over there. It's just such a gorgeous property. They challenged sort of every department within the hotel to create a mini float for Mardi Gras for their department. You can go see them all online. It's really cool how they did it. Like there's like the reception float. If you want to pull that up, it's like probably the reception desk did their own float. Human resources did their own float. Engineering, sales did their own float. Tallulah, the restaurant there inside the Renaissance. Getting into the spirit, one of the things that I tell you all the time, if you're not familiar with Renaissance and the Renaissance properties, every single Renaissance property is unique to that market. Like, there are no two Renaissance hotels are exactly alike. So this one is unique to Baton Rouge. Its design, the decor, all of it. So check it out if you've never been. If you need an event, have it at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
When you go to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras. Gonna go see the Mardi Gras. Gonna go see the Mardi Gras. When you go to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras.
So North Carolina will not be on Hard Knocks after all. There was word that UNC, Bill Belichick, they were going to be on Hard Knocks. And apparently, of course, Hard Knocks is an NFL Films property. And apparently, NFL owners, it's an HBO show that's created by NFL Films. So NFL Films produces it, and it's distributed on HBO. Well, apparently, there were a group of NFL owners that were not super fired up about a league-owned platform featuring a Bill Belichick-coached college team. An NFL media spokesperson told CBS Sports, quote, NFL Films had discussions with Coach Belichick and UNC about appearing on Hard Knocks this offseason, but couldn't reach an agreement. So the reason this came about, so NFL teams don't have a say in whether or not they're in Hard Knocks during the season, but the off-season Hard Knocks is what sort of at question here. And there was no NFL team that volunteered or was willing to be in the offseason version of Hard Knocks. So they're like, let's see if North Carolina raised their hand, like, we'll do it. And they were moving along in that direction. And apparently some NFL owners spoke and were like, you can put Belichick on Hard Knocks? So anyway, the one thing that stood out to me when I saw this was like, why in the world does the NFL hate Bill Belichick? You know what I mean? Like, isn't this odd? Like, think of any other sport. And he is the greatest coach ever. That's inarguable. Right? The guy won 6 Super Bowls. He is the greatest coach ever. Don Shula won more games. Belichick's got 6 Super Bowls. He's the greatest coach ever. He's greater than Lombardi. He's greater than Shula. He's greater than all of them. Hallis, he's out greater than all of them. Especially in the era in which he did it, the longevity in which he did it, the number of titles. He's the greatest. But, like, can you imagine the NBA just ostracizing Phil Jackson? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I don't know if, like, Casey Stengel, you know, I mean, we're talking about a different era, but, like, what about Joe Torre, you know, who won 4 World Series championships as the manager of the Yankees? Like, Joe Torre went and worked for Major League Baseball after he was done managing. Can you imagine, like, college football ostracizing Nick Saban? Like, you're not welcome here? They put him on College Game Day. It's like, hey, Pat and Kirk, scoot over. Make room for the GOAT. I mean, dude's on, like, he's in our living room. They're talking about making the commissioner of college football. You imagine college basketball saying, hey, Coach K, you're not welcome anymore. It's unheard of. It just goes to show you, man, like, this is probably rooted in the fact that Belichick is just an a-hole. He's an a-hole to a lot of people over a lot of years. And now that he's out, they don't want to let him back in. So, and he would have been there in New England for as long as they would have let him. Kraft decided to move on. And once he was kicked out the door, all the people that Belichick had stepped on and pissed off for all those years were like, oh, sucks, don't it? They're working like hell to keep him out. I mean, it is absurd that Bill Belichick is not coaching in the NFL. Like, it is absurd that Kellen Moore is a head coach in the NFL and Bill Belichick can't get a job. I mean, I guess it's kind of like with athletes too. It doesn't matter how talented you are. At some level, you're not worth the headache. Now, the better you are, no doubt, the better you are, the more we'll put up with. But at some point, Antonio Brown, it don't matter how good you are. When you're that big of a head case, you're out. Nobody wants to deal with you. Belichick's kind of there right now, man. Now, for North Carolina, it makes a ton of sense. But in the NFL, they don't need him. Greatest ever, but they don't need him. They're keeping him out of the club. Fascinating time. Okay, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Go around the SEC in just a quick second. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. Call the Williamson Eye Center. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. That's 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. I'll tell you what, eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, they can help. But if you wear contacts and glasses, they can do your eye exam or help you buy those contacts and glasses, update your prescription, all that good stuff. It's at the Williamson Eye Center. Go meet with Dr. Blake Williamson. You'll be blown away like I was. Change your life. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
Eli Drinkwitz says he will not put a timeline on naming a starting quarterback, trying to replace Brady Cook as spring ball gets underway. Drink said, there's an old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the starting quarterback makes himself known to the rest of the team, we'll announce the starter. What a dork. Penn State transfer Bo Prabula and two in-house guys, Sam Horn and Drew Pine, are going after the gig.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Is that Drew Pine, who was the Notre Dame guy? Yeah, same guy? Oh, God. Oh, yeah, I remember him from he played when Brady Cook got hurt last year.
Not very well, but he played.
No, he stunk. Oklahoma is replacing their spring game with a new Crimson Combine. They're going to have a dunk contest and tug of war and all that stupid stuff.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I forgot we got an Ole Miss one. Hit Ole Miss, sorry.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss has hired Marvin Nash. Hey, Chuck! It's me, Marvin! Marvin Berry! No, Marvin Nash. They're assembling the personnel department. So he's been at Rice as the executive director of recruiting and player personnel. Spent 15 years coaching high school football in Texas, so a strategic ad there for Lane Kiffin.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Nate Oates told reporters Darion Reed unavailable for the Crimson Tide's game against number 5 Florida on Wednesday. He's got a hamstring injury. Hadn't played since February 15th. He's actually missed time twice this year due to that hamstring injury. Reed's averaging 7 points, nearly 4 boards per game.
The Auburn Tigers.
And Denver Jones is listed as questionable per the SEC availability report. Head of Auburn's game against Texas A&M. Jones suffered the injury Saturday in the win against Kentucky, playing in just 8 minutes. Bruce Pearl said X-rays revealed a bone bruise for Jones, so expected to make a full recovery. He's played the third most minutes of anybody on the roster, averaging 10 and 2 for the number 1 Tigers. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. 15 minutes. Countdown is on. 15 minutes left to buy your tickets online for the S&P Rare Whiskey Raffle. More than 60 bottles up for grabs. You probably need a little longer than that. Yeah, we're feeling it out a little bit, Muse.
Oh, I try it for you there, yeah.
3 or 4 seconds, probably not enough. The Rare Whiskey Raffle, I'll be hosting it tonight on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube and Facebook. $10 a ticket. $100 gets you 12 tickets. $200 gets you 25 tickets. And every ticket gets you the opportunity to purchase a rare whiskey at fair retail, and all the proceeds from the ticket sales go to benefit St. Lillian Academy in Baton Rouge Ancient Athletes. There's the QR code on the screen if you're on YouTube or on WBTR. There's the QR code you can scan right there. But the link to purchase, I've got it on my Twitter. I've got it on my Facebook, the S&P Facebook. You can buy tickets in person at Fred's in Tigerland up until 6:15. Raffle starts at 6:30. Okay, it is after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a final break. Wrap up hour number 1 when we come back. Dabo's weenie met with the media as Clemson's getting kicked off spring practice. Not Sorry, I read a text. I don't know where I was going with that. That's Mardi Gras Muse. It's Mardi Gras, man.
It's a great time. Love it.
It's not a great time.
It's fantastic. It's one of the best.
It's just not the best at all.
So good.
I know people that think Mardi Gras is the best holiday of the year.
It's not the best holiday of the year.
It's
but
not
it's,
even like, oh, it's...
No, I wouldn't say it's close to the best holiday of the year, but it is top 5.
Yeah, tell me all the Mardi Gras stuff you did this year.
I actually didn't get to do any.
Oh,
Mardi
wow.
Gras
Top 5 holiday, you did nothing. Shocker. Okay, it's after further. Yeah, I'll get it. First time. Top 5. Did you ever miss Christmas, Muse? Yeah? You ever miss Easter, Muse? You ever not do anything on those holidays, Muse? I didn't think so. Yeah, okay. Got it. Thanks. It's after further review.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. I get it. Funny name, funny logo with the little spike on the W on the wood. I get it. A lot of that's just to bring some levity to a situation. A lot of guys don't like to discuss, but here's the thing I would challenge you. Not only if you are considering going into Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, doing the blood test for hormone replacement therapy, ask your friends. But what I would really challenge you is that if you are a man who's on hormone therapy, don't be afraid to talk about it. I mean, the sheer volume of adult males that are on hormone therapy, and females, by the way, is actually really encouraging because science has brought us to this point where we know how to safely and affordably supplement ourselves to live healthier, fuller, more lives filled with vitality. Why wouldn't you want that? A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for HRT. Go to yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
You know the best part about Mardi Gras, Muse?
What's the best part about Mardi Gras, Matt?
Those big green John Deere tractors pulling those floats all through cities.
There's a lot of them.
Certainly not all the people dressed up in weird costumes on the backs of trucks, throwing crappy beads to people standing on the side of the road in windstorms.
Windstorm's an outlier.
That's not the best part of Mardi Gras. Actually, the best part of Mardi Gras is the Endymion Ball. Hashtag fact. Shout out to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shout out to Jimmy Johnson. Do you know Jimmy Johnson was 81 years old?
No, but I'd never really thought about it. That kind of makes sense.
He looks good,
He
man.
does.
81 years old. Retiring, stepping away from Fox. 31 years after his career at Fox began. He did have a stint in the middle, so he started at Fox after he left the Cowboys. So he was on the hired for the pregame show in 1994, spent 2 seasons there before he left for the Miami Dolphins. Then after his 5-year stint in Miami, went back to Fox in 2002, and he's been there ever since. And Fox, Jimmy Johnson, and apparently in recent years, he had been, candidly, I don't watch the pregame show a ton, so this is a little off my radar. But Jimmy Johnson was flying, he lives in Miami, or down in the Keys, I believe. It's so weird. In Key West. So he lives in Key West, but he was flying on Sundays from Key West out to L.A. to do the Fox pregame show. And so in recent years, he had stopped flying for every game. Only when Fox had the doubleheader would he fly out to L.A. Kurt Menefee said they had dinner a couple of years ago. 2 years ago, the crew thought it was Jimmy's going away dinner, elected to return, did 2 more seasons, but now he's retiring. So Jimmy Johnson's gone. They posted this on social media. It's Jimmy Johnson's first appearance on Fox back in 1995, and then his last appearance this year.
To the Dallas Cowboys, we all know Jimmy by his hair and his suits. And Coach, we're thrilled to have you. I would want to know, would like to ask you maybe later about why you're not going for that third.
You know, I can truly say, because of my family and because of y'all, I've never been happier than in this time of my life. Happiest I've ever been in my life. God bless you, buddy.
Was that goodbye?
One day at a time, Kurt. One day at a time.
Great answer.
Of course, it was goodbye for Jimmy Johnson there at the Super Bowl. You know, honestly, I think he's been great on TV. Obviously, was an amazing coach with the Cowboys, great dynasty, and all that stuff. It is interesting though because that set at Fox had gotten a little crowded. I mean, Kurt, Howie, Terry, Jimmy, Gronk, Strahan, it had gotten pretty crowded. And this is just naturally part of it. It's going to happen with Game Day as well. Coach Corso, eventually won't be on the show anymore, as we well know. But in any event, congrats to Jimmy Johnson on a great run there as he heads off into retirement. All right, it's after further review. I was having a conversation a bit ago with Chef Layton over at Supper Club. Tomorrow, of course, is Ash Wednesday. I tell you no meat if you're a practicing Catholic. Of course, no meat on Fridays during Lent. And we talk so much about the steak options at Supper Club. The amazing steaks, the Sagrera cut, all the great options of Wagyu. They've got amazing seafood as well. They have got crabs from the boats in the show The Deadliest Catch. That's the Alaskan king crabs that they bring into Supper Club. They've got Chilean sea bass and oysters, stone crabs from Florida that they get directly from the fishermen there, so it's fresh every single day. It's incredible. So great seafood options as well over at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. SupperClubBTR.com. Supper Club. Get on by, y'all. Have a special event. Have it over at Supper Club. All right, 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left to buy your tickets online for the S&P Rare Whiskey Raffle. 4 minutes left to buy your tickets online. Got on my Twitter and my Facebook. It shuts off at 4 Central, so 4 minutes left. Go buy your tickets for these great charities.
AFR.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you. has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Saquon Barkley's been rewarded by the Eagles for his historic season. 2-year, $41 million extension, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter, making him the highest paid running back in NFL history and the first $20 million plus per year running back. Vikings did not use the franchise tag on quarterback Sam Darnold by the deadline, are still interested in working to re-sign him. NBA Mavericks got the news on Kyrie Irving. They'd feared the team's best overall player this season will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
It is not the end of the world for him. The doctors that the league have and the technology that you have, yes, I understand it's an ACL, but Kyrie will be back. He will be back stronger. One of the most mental tough guys that we've ever been around when it comes to putting in the hard work.
Irving has a $43 million player option for next season. The ACC, Florida State, Clemson ended their ongoing litigation, agreed to a settlement changing the league's distribution model, and significantly reduces exit penalties for members wanting to leave the conference before 2036.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday with NFL free agency less than a week away. I'll tell you the perfect landing spot for all the available players. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. J-Boy, our guy Jake Crain will be here. Crain and Company, about 15 minutes from right now. You blink and you look up and you realize like LSU starts spring practice on Saturday, but a lot of teams around the conference have already begun. So what are some of the storylines, notable transfers that we're kind of keeping an eye on this spring? No coaching changes in the SEC, which I don't know, man. Every year, one of the things I'm always looking for at SEC Media Days is which coach is here for the last time. A lot of us thought certainly Billy Napier, Sam Pittman, Eli Drinkwitz could all have been potentially in that number going to Media Days for the final time. But no coaching changes this offseason. So relevant coordinator hires. So we'll talk about that with things to keep an eye on with our guy J-Boy coming up here in just a smidge. There is a little bit of news here. Nick Underhill, the Saints purge has begun. We know it's something that they had to do. Not in any way surprising. Let's see. According to Nick Underhill, Saints have released Jamal Williams. Don't worry about it, Paulie. Clearing up $2.34 million in cap space. So certainly one of the more disappointing free agent signings here recently. Jamal Williams was added after leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns, and a year ago in 2023 didn't have a rushing touchdown until the controversial final touchdown of the season when Jameis called his own play to get Jamal Williams in the end zone. And then this season, boy, despite the injuries to Alvin Kamara and Kendre Miller, Jamal Williams just wasn't a productive player for you. So the beat goes on. Saints cut Jamal Williams, save a couple $1 million, and I don't know what cool $56 million more to go, something like that, until they get within cap compliance. But the purge is on as league year begins in begin at the middle of this month. So have to get within cap compliance. More to come. Jamal Williams, the first there. Speaking of the Saints, there's a report from The Athletic that the Las Vegas Raiders are shopping tight end Michael Mayer to other teams around the NFL. And, as I often say when there's a free agent or a player that is on the trade block, and you ask the question, like, should my team go after that player? I think you should always, like 100% of the time, have the conversation. Many times it's not going to make sense financially, roster-wise, whatever. But as a GM, someone who is in charge of organizing the roster, you should always have the conversation because you never know until you ask. I mean, did anybody realistically Pat Riley was going to land LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosch? Got them all? As Dan Le Batard said, everybody wanted one of them. Riley got them all. I mean, you had to ask. You had to put it together. So what kind of deal can you do? Now, Michael Mayer isn't that. But I think you should always have the question. And the Saints have a very real need at tight end. Let me rephrase. The Saints have a very real need at everything. So every player that is an upgrade over what you currently have that is affordable, you've got to look at what it would cost to get that player. So if you're asking me, should the Saints trade for Michael Mayer? If you don't draft a tight end, then absolutely. So let's piece together the options here, okay? First of all, The Saints could sign a tight end in free agency. It could. But I also think this is unlikely. Unless if you re-sign your guy, Juwan Johnson. So for whatever it's worth, PFF ranks Juwan Johnson as the number 1 free agent tight end in this free agent cycle. That should put some context on how weak of a free agent cycle this is at tight end. They've got Juwan Johnson, number 1, followed by Mike Gesicki, Tyler Conklin, Zach Ertz, and then Austin Hooper. That's the free agent tight end crop, the top 5. You could re-sign Juwan Johnson. He was your leading pass catcher this past year after the injuries to Olave and Shaheed and Taysom, Kamara. But he's certainly not a prototype tight end and hasn't been the dynamic player many of us thought he would be, especially in the red zone. So I don't know that you have a free agent option. The better option, and by the way, if you look at the roster currently where the Saints are at tight end, Juwan Johnson's a free agent. Foster Moreau is entering the final year of his contract, the free agent contract that he signed. And this could be a situation where Foster is a cap casualty. I don't know what's going to happen here with Foster, but it's just worth noting as you look at numbers, Foster has a $4.6 million cap hit. He has no dead money. So this year. So they could cut or release Foster Moreau. You'd save $4.6 million. Now, you'd be down a tight end, but you could. Nobody wants to see that happen. I mean, we're talking about potentially releasing Tyron, potentially releasing Foster. I mean, love to see the LSU guys there. We all know Foster's story. Louisiana guy, went to New Orleans guy, went to Jesuit, LSU, number 18, all the stuff. Had been with Carr, with the Raiders. Saints signed him in free agency when they had a need at tight end. And Foster's been he's been a good player, not a great player for New Orleans. Of course, we know he went through his cancer battle. I mean, I would love to see Foster stay, but he's got a $4.6 million cap hit, no dead money. You could release him and say 4.6 like that. And when you are where the Saints are with respect to the cap, these are the types of decisions sometimes you have to make. So Juwan Johnson's a tight end. Foster Moreau is entering the final year of his deal. He could be a cap casualty. And then Taysom's hurt, and he's not really a tight end to begin with. Taysom Hill's a versatile player, but he is not a prototype tight end. So you need a tight end. Not great tight end class in free agency. You don't really have great options currently on the roster. I would say drafting a tight end is likely. As a matter of fact, Ross Jackson, our guy over at LouisianaSports.net today, put out a 7-round post-combine Saints mock draft. And with the 9th overall pick, he's got and this has been a pretty common pick as well. With the 9th overall pick, he's got the Saints taking Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State. Which, if that were to happen, I would go head over heels. Love that. I think Tyler Warren is you never want to say can't miss. You could always miss on guys in the draft. But size, physicality, athleticism, hands, blocking ability, all of it, complete tight end, position of need, and I think will still be a relevant player in his physical prime by the time, in theory, 2, 3, 4 years down the line when you get this roster back to where you feel like you can compete. I think he could be very much a cornerstone part of that. You need everything, and if he's there at 9, you take him. I'm thrilled with that. But this is also a very deep tight end draft class. Not only do you have Warren, but you got Colston Loveland from Michigan. By the way, PFF ranking the tight ends in this draft class, just for some context, they have Tyler Warren as the 13th overall player in the draft. Colston Loveland, out of Michigan, the 31st overall player in the draft. So two guys there in the top 32. Gunnar Helm from Texas, 75th. Elijah Arroyo, 80th. And Mason Taylor, 87th. As the top 5 tight ends in the draft. Taylor! So you got the first 2 in Warren and Loveland, who are probably first-round picks. But then you got Helm, Arroyo, and Taylor all within 12 spots of each other in these rankings that would be third-round picks. So point being, even if you don't get Warren in round 1 or Loveland, around round 3, there's going to be a really good tight end very likely sitting there for you to be able to draft one of the guys I just mentioned, Helm, Arroyo, or Taylor. Of course, we love to see Taylor, LSU guy, go there. We'll see what they do. But I think The best option is going to be in the draft. But if you don't draft a tight end, Michael Mayer could be great value. You know, he came out of Notre Dame and was an elite level prospect. He was a second-round pick of the Raiders. He had a good, not great rookie season, caught 27 passes for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a good rookie season. It's just, it pales in comparison to what we just saw Brock Bowers do. And so Mayer had really a down second season, 21 catches for 156, in large part because Brock Bowers had the greatest receiving season for a rookie tight end in the history of the NFL. So naturally, playing the same position, Mayer wasn't going to get the looks. So when I look at this, because he was a second-round pick, he was a day 2 pick, you got affordable salary. His 2025 number is $1.5 million. His 2026 number is $2 million. Super affordable. The question is, what would you have to give up to get him? A former second-round pick who really hasn't performed well in the last 2 years, you could probably give a day 3 pick. I mean, you could trade a 6 or a 7 in theory. Now, the Raiders may want more than that, but they got a guy that's just sitting there on the roster they used a second-round pick on that they're getting nothing out of because they drafted Brock Bowers. Like, anything is better than nothing. Could you go offer a 6, offer a late day 3 pick, and get Michael Mayer and pay him $1.5 million in 2025, $2 million in 2026? Yeah. That feels like a really good option for a young, very talented guy. It's probably a better option all around than anyone you currently have on your roster. Would be more cost-effective than any free agents, and probably a better player than the guys in the draft, unless if you were able to get Tyler Warren 9th overall. I think this is one that the Saints got to pick up the phone and call. Now, I wouldn't do it until after the draft if he's still hanging around, but that's one that I could really see making sense for New Orleans is Michael Mayer from the Raiders, if the deal makes sense, because everything else, need, position, your position of need, salary, contract, all the stuff. If the deal makes sense and what you'd have to give up to get him, yeah, there's a lot of boxes that would check. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're here. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Visit sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. If you're at a parade, you'll see plenty. Parades are over, I guess, today. Plenty of those green John Deere tractors tugging those floats all over town. Actually, our friends over at Sunshine had a bunch of LSU players that they'd done NIL deals with riding on their floats on the North Shore today as well. So getting in the spirit. We appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, quick break. Come back. Talk a little SEC football. Spring's getting underway around the conference. J-Boy, our guy Jake Crain from Crain & Company will be here next on AFR.
AFR.
All right, Carnival is behind us now, or just about behind us now. Make sure you get by Rouse's. The King Cakes will be going bye-bye pretty soon. Lent will be here, so you'll be cranking out the seafood on Fridays. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. So for all the practicing Catholics who will be abstaining from meat, you want to go get your seafood option, you can get it at Rouse's. You can go to the seafood market right there. You want a piece of fish to throw on the grill? Awesome. You want boiled shrimp? Grab and go. They got you ready. All your seafood, they got the hot and boiled kiosk, your boiled crawfish as well. Already bag tagged, ready to roll. Rouse's has you covered all throughout the Lenten season. So make sure you check out the website or download the Rouse's app. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. At Rouse's, they are the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. They love to support the home teams over at Rouse's. And with more than 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between, you're never far from a Rouse's location. So get to the website or download the app, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
For the review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Everybody get lit because it's Mardi Gras. Our side piece, J-Boy, good enough to hang out on Mardi Gras Day because, let's be real, a lot of you call your side pieces on Mardi Gras. It's what happens. J-Boy, what up, man? How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Wish I was down there for Mardi Gras, but I'm not up here in Nashville where, there really isn't a lot of Mardi Gras stuff, but Broadway's kind of cool. But no, man, doing good. Just ready for a little March Madness.
Did you know today was Mardi Gras Day?
Yeah, I did, man. I went to school in South Alabama. I was in Mobile, the originator of Mardi Gras, of course.
That might be one of the weakest. You know what? Mobile trying to claim Mardi Gras is the softest thing since Kalen DeBoer crying about a level playing field in college.
Hey, I'm with you on that. I'm 100%. You were actually the first person I thought of when I read that quote. I literally opened the show. Bro, what's happened to Bama? Like the culture, they literally have a sign that says no excuses in the building. You got to take that one down. But I think it's a symptom of a bigger problem, man. I really do.
Oh, what do you think that bigger problem is? The fact that Bama's burning and they're not ever going to be what they once were?
Well, I think you went from running your football program like a competent military to the people that sit down in front of traffic trying to save the goldfish from dying out.
So good. I saw the clip on social media. If you want to go see it, you can follow Jake. He's at Jake Crain _. Hey, it was a good time to get you on, man, because I kind of looked up. LSU starts spring practice on Saturday, but like a lot of teams around the league have already started practice and around the country. So it's just like it kind of came up quickly. If I were to ask you, is there a team in the league this spring that for whatever reason maybe has the most interesting, most important month of spring drills ahead of them? Who'd you say?
Well, the easy answer, the surface level answer is who has questions at quarterback, right? You look at Alabama, you look at Auburn, but what I find most interesting, and I guess this is just the coach in me, it's the line of scrimmage. Like that's what I'm looking at, because I can hide average quarterback play with a great line of scrimmage. It's tough to hide great quarterback. It's tough to hide an average line of scrimmage with great quarterback play. So, looking at LSU on the offensive line, after losing some of the players that they did, how are they going to respond when you don't have questions at the quarterback position? So that's really where I'm looking. As far as intriguing, again, keeping it in the SEC, I'm not worried as much about what, Florida has going on. I feel pretty good about them. I think Oklahoma's sneaky, man. I think Oklahoma's a sneaky college football playoff pick this year.
Okay, dig a little deeper there. Why?
Well, first off, I think the Arbuckle hire, not enough people are talking about it. In the coaching community, Arbuckle's one of the most, highly sought after and highly respected young minds on the offensive side of the ball, and you brought his quarterback with him. So you don't have to Rosetta Stone this thing. You don't have to drop me in Korea and have me try and find where the bathroom is. They speak the same language. It's getting everybody else caught up to speed. Venables kind of taking over the defense. I think Oklahoma had a lot. You look at the injuries that team went through last year, especially the wide receiver position. I look at their schedule. I look at their personnel. I look at them being kind of jealous of what Texas did last year. I'm very intrigued by this Oklahoma team, man.
So you're convinced that bringing in the quarterback from Wazoo, that's going to work?
I thought he was the best quarterback in the portal.
I mean, I know he's there. Like, he was ranked there, right, as the best quarterback in the portal. How much – I mean, this is also a team that had a 5-star in Jackson Arnold that was supposed to be the guy, and it didn't work out. So, I don't know. I guess sometimes I'm just a little skeptical.
Yeah, it is, but, I mean, I don't think you can compare those two. I mean, Mateer's kind of a proven commodity. I know what I'm getting with Mateer. With Jackson Arnold, he was stepping up to the rock concert for the first time with the guitar. You didn't know how he was going to play. But with Mateer, he's not going to be intimidated. I mean, he's played. I know Washington State isn't exactly the mecca of college football, but if track records matter, those Washington State transfer quarterbacks tend to do pretty well.
Jake Crain's with us, Crain & Company, weekdays. You can get the Crain & Company YouTube channel, 2 o'clock Central, at @JakeCrain_. So we can get him on Twitter. I probably should have started there. Considering, for those who don't know Jake, coach, he coached South Alabama, coached at Montana. Weren't you in the JUCO ranks for a while as well?
Yeah, when I was younger, I was in the JUCO ranks, man. Got it out of the mud, 3-0 on Last Chance U. Holler at your boy.
Love it, so good. What is the value of spring football?
The practices. Look, the spring game is for fans. Most coaches won't say this, but you're just trying to get through that game healthy. Nobody's ever won a job during the spring game. It's kind of like the Senior Bowl. The practices are way more important than what the games are. You have position battles. You want to create competition. Nowadays with recruits, everybody's coming in early so they can go through spring, so you can really see who's kind of ready physically and mentally to be able to contribute, whether that's as a starter, whether that's as a role player or somebody that can come in when you inevitably have injuries at a spot. But a lot of it is creating competition, and a lot of the stuff happens, guys haven't played together before. It's creating that gel. It's understanding the practice structure. It's understanding what's expected at practice and in meetings and kind of setting the tone, because the team is built in winter workouts, spring practice, and summer workouts. If you're trying to build the team in fall camp, there's really no way for you to reach peak efficiency fast enough to reach your goals. So there's so many things outside of just, going on the field and going through the things. It's getting used to it, whether that's the mechanics of how we want to practice, what we do in practice, how we get through practice. It's vitally important. And look, at the end of the day, I'm one of these people that's advocating for let's play the spring game against an in-state lesser opponent. I think that would be better for everybody.
I mean, you and I both know that's not going to happen for a lot of different reasons. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know how functionally we ever get to that point. Do you see a way that ever happens? Do you have a path for that to happen?
Well, I mean, Matt, so much has changed in college football nowadays. I mean, would anything shock you? I mean, Stanford and Cal are in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
But Jake,
you are nuts.
But I understand that, because that's all about financially aligning yourself for survival. Playing a spring game against an in-state opponent is an unnecessary risk that's not going to be a revenue generator. I can't even find a way to monetize that.
Well, I mean, what happens if we get to a certain situation where you're not really able to play group of 5 teams anymore, and you can't give them that payday when they come up for Cupcake Week?
I don't need it. But Jake, you're not selling tickets to a spring game. So
you are. You are. Yeah, you are. You could sell tickets to this. You give a different opponent. I don't care if it's Alabama playing UAB. You're giving people college football during the spring. They would come and pay you. I'm not saying you charge what you would charge during the regular season, but you can make a gate, and it's great for the community, the economy, the hotels, the restaurants. I mean, we used to have booster meetings and recruiting weekends during it. So if the odds aren't high, I agree with you there, but if people are going to go watch you play yourself, they would go watch you play somebody else.
Oh, man, I think I don't want to get bogged down in that conversation. We'll agree to disagree on that. Maybe have the conversation another day. Let me ask you about LSU and your thoughts on where you stand. Number one portal cycle, number one portal class. You get Nusmeier back. Feels like they're poised maybe for a big season. Where do you stand on them right now?
Well, look, I think LSU's ahead of the curve. I mean, in a college football and really college athletics worlds of instability, when you have the guys returning, especially at the quarterback position that you trust, it's really just fitting the pieces around them. Now, you brought up the transfer portal class. That's great. I want to see kind of how they ingratiate. Bad players don't go to LSU. That's just not what happens nowadays. But everybody's going to be pointing to the defense, and I get it. Look, you're giving Blake Baker a king's ransom. You don't want just an average defense. You can go from really bad to average, but you better go from average to pretty damn good at the end of the day, and that's what LSU fans expect. But I think the offensive line, too, again, I'll go back to that, with what you lost and what was, one of your strengths, even though I don't think they played up to par as consistently as what even I thought they would do last year. That's what I want to see for LSU in taking the next step, because at the end of the day, LSU's got to become balanced as a team. You may be able to get away with some things if you're not balanced. We see this in other sports. You can be a great hitting team, but if you don't have the pitching, it's going to cost you. You can be a great shooting team in basketball, but if you can't rebound and play defense when the shots aren't falling, you're not going to win games. So can LSU establish themselves once again as a balanced team that can win in multiple ways? Because the teams that win the most can win the most ways.
Hey, you mentioned Oklahoma as a team that you think might be a sneaky sleeper playoff team. If I asked you to flip that, what team do you think is maybe this year fighting against a pretty significant step back?
Just in the SEC or overall?
Yeah, no, in the SEC.
I think Texas.
Okay.
Look, I think Arch Manning's going to be a good player. I don't think there's any way he can live up to the hype. I mean, I haven't seen, and I was one of the first people to say this, now I see other people saying it, I haven't seen somebody gassed up this much coming out of high school since LeBron James. So when I look at Texas, and it's not just the quarterback position, and I know they have some good players returning, but losing Barron at corner, I don't think people realize exactly how good that cat was. He shut down one side of the field, and you were able to do some other things with Taft at safety and really kind of pigeonhole people offensively. And then on the line of scrimmage, the past 2 years, Texas has lost a decent amount of high-quality players. So while they're at plus 200 to win the SEC, I'm not seeing it right now.
Where are you on Ole Miss?
And look, I think the Austin Simmons kid isn't being talked about enough. I mean, again, he's not a proven commodity, but I think he's just such a natural passer of the ball. I mean, I think he could play Major League Baseball at the end of the day if it doesn't work out. But I'll go back to what I've been talking about, and I'll beat this drum till I'm dead. What separated Ole Miss wasn't this amazing high-flying Globetrotter offense. They got better in the front seven on defense. You look at what they lost. Go look at what Walter Nolan did at the Senior Bowl. He was ripping guys apart. Can Ole Miss stay consistent on the line of scrimmage? I'm not worried about their offense being good. Maybe not overly elite, but good. Can that front seven on defense with Pete Golding continue to win them games? Because if you go back and watch Ole Miss's season, that front seven won them, I think, more games than what that offense did.
Isn't the big concern, though, that with all that talent, they still lost 3 games?
And with that schedule.
God, man. Like, that's where I go. That's Jake, I don't know how you feel about it, man. I look at teams like Ole Miss, like what Florida State was last year, what Ohio State's going to be this year. When you go ham in the portal, like you go all in, and then you're in. But all of those guys leave in one fell swoop, like, you can't help but regress. It's what I said last year about Bama. Like, of course they were going to step back.
Well, ask Mike Norvell at Florida State.
Right.
Like, look at what when you live by. If you're going to play this game, especially in football, which I think is the hardest organized team sport to bring new guys in and have consistent success. In basketball, I can bring in a 7-footer and we can figure some things out.
Yeah.
In baseball, I can bring in a guy on Friday night that's throwing 98 with a 93-mile-per-hour slider and a changeup that'll bend you over backwards, and we can figure it out.
Paul Skeens.
In football, it doesn't really work like this.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be so – that's why, again, I'll continue to say, there's a lot of guys that slice it different. Prime does it different in Colorado than some other people. I'm a firm believer in the transfer portal should not build the ship. It should plug holes in the ship. And it's just a dangerous game to play if you're going to rely on that turnover coming through in this sport every year.
Man, see, like, that's where it's so fascinating, too, because, well, I agree with you. And I think, like, that was Brian Kelly's philosophy when he came here. When you have a quarter of your roster leave every year, so after 2 seasons, half of your signing class is gone, how do you build the foundation when guys don't stay, Jake? Like, that's what I think dudes are running into right now.
Yeah, but again, I think you've got to be flexible and you've got to be fluid, especially nowadays. Every year is not the same. Now, when you're on top, and that's why I'm always laughing. Like, I'll hear Kirby or Georgia talking about, we're worried about our guys getting poached in the portal. Okay, I don't think you should be as worried as, like, Arizona State or something. Walmart ain't worried about losing employees, okay? So, like, I think it depends on where you're at and what the circumstance is for that year. That's why, Matt, we still, and I say this, and I'm in the college football media, and we try and talk about it a lot, even though it's not the sexiest thing. Roster management is still the most invaluable. That's why everybody's hiring a GM. Like, because roster management, especially nowadays with the portal and NIL and all this other stuff, it is the most important thing that you can do.
Always a great conversation, man. Jake Crain, you'll get him on Twitter at @JakeCrain_. Crain & Company, weekdays, 2 p.m. Central on the Crain & Company YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed up over there. Hey, man, always great to chat. We appreciate you taking the call, man. We'll visit soon.
Of course, man. Send me some king cake, dog.
I can do that. Send me your address. I got you.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Y'all good.
We'll see you. It's After Further Review, brought by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know where to find them with 9 locations, 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. Remember, every time you walk into a Lee Michaels, a couple things can happen. Number one, you get the Lee Michaels experience. What that means is no matter what your budget is, no matter how familiar you are with buying jewelry, they're going to make you feel like walking through the door is a special occasion, because it is. And then every diamond you look at in their case will be one of the finest natural diamonds in the world. Scott goes on diamond buying trips all over the world to bring the best selection back here to Lee Michaels. You will never find a man-made lab diamond in the case. As I say often, this ain't a science experiment. It's an expression of your love. Something you want to pass to generations of your family. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. I appreciate Jay Crain. Good convo, man. I could talk to J-Boy forever. Good dude, been a great friend. Just personally into the show for a long time now. But it's great. I mean, it's great perspective, especially from a guy who's a young guy who coached college football and transitioned into doing media. But I'm really fascinated. He said Oklahoma he thinks is a sleeper. I will fundamentally disagree there. I don't think Brent Venables has it. Mateer coming in from Washington State. Okay, a little bit of a different hack, man. When you look at the top 2 receivers from Oklahoma, including Nick Anderson, tight end Bauer Sharp, they're both now at LSU. I mean, you took his weapons away. You're bringing in a quarterback who, what does he have around him? And then against that schedule, I think OU is just finding out what life is like in the SEC, man. You can go win. You can roll out of bed if you're Oklahoma, win 10 games in a crappy Big 12 every year. In the SEC, you're up against it, man. And I just think they whiffed. They whiffed by sending Dylan Gabriel on his way. They went all in on Jackson Arnold, and they just missed. Now Jackson Arnold's at Auburn. They're bringing in John Mateer. I don't know what he's got around him. That feels like a 7, maybe an 8-win football team at best. Anyway, a lot of time to talk about it. Spring practice getting underway around the league at LSU on the practice field on Saturday. Okay, y'all, quick break. We'll come back. LSU basketball is up at Kentucky. And I actually got proof that it could be worse. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You know where to find them. Y'all look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Got issues with your AC, your heater. By the way, today's Mardi Gras. It's Mardi Gras Day. It's a holiday. A lot of people are off today. We're working, but a lot of y'all are off. That's cool. Man, enjoy your day. But let's say with it being 70 whatever degrees, it's 71 degrees right now in Baton Rouge. AC goes out. You need help. Call some companies, you'll get an answering service. They'll get to you tomorrow when they're working again. Not at River City's 1 hour air. Call them right now. You will talk to a human. I guarantee you. 4:36 p.m. on Mardi Gras Day. Call 752-0001. You can do it just to see if I'm lying. You want to do it right, even if you don't need an AC check. Just to see if I'm lying. 4:36 Mardi Gras Day. Call 752-0001. You'll talk to a human right now. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, whether they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down in New Orleans where the blues was born, it takes a cool cat to blow a horn.
Join us at the Louisiana Outdoor Expo at the Lamar. Why is that so difficult for me? Join us at the Louisiana Outdoor Expo at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center from March 14th through the 16th. Head over to the front to back booth and register for your chance to win a U10 New Canoe, a compact, versatile kayak perfect for fishing and hunting adventures.
Did he just shush me?
Visit 1045ESPN.com. I didn't shush you. I was just saying, hold on, let me finish.
He just threw up his finger at me like shut your mouth. Hey, shut your mouth on your show. Tell you what, the ganja starts hitting, Paulie. Guy gets a little brave over there, huh? Guy wonders why he can't get the words out at 440. You know about how long it takes to start hitting, huh, Paulie? It's a little hard.
I just think that's kind of a difficult first sentence there. It
yeah, you're right.
Words
are difficult. Words are difficult, Muse.
They can be.
They can be, Muse.
They really can.
When you're munching on some hash brownies, you're right.
No, just in general.
They can be difficult, Muse. Isn't it interesting, Paulie? It's always around this time when Muse starts to struggle with things like words.
It's when we read the promos.
Big coincidence.
You really think it's a coincidence?
Not really.
Yeah, me. Thanks to Jake Crain for joining us. Will Blackwell will be here in about 30 minutes. Former All-American offensive lineman. Big question, of course, for LSU in spring offensive line. So excited to have Willie be here, talk about remaking that line, some transfers coming in, continuity, value of spring, all that stuff. We'll get to that with Willie be here at second segment of hour number 3. So it's coming up in a little bit. So LSU basketball is going to play Kentucky tonight. Kentucky, usually pretty good, right? Pretty good basketball program.
Blue blood, for sure. One of the best.
Yeah. Matt McMahon didn't have his radio show on Monday. It'll be tomorrow. I guess Mardi Gras maybe is why they didn't do it.
I think so,
Probably, yeah. And then no media availability this week.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. They're playing Kentucky.
Yeah.
Number 19, Kentucky. Rupp Arena. No Matt McMahon.
Yeah. You beat them last year, too. So I'm getting,
They beat quite a few teams last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Not so many this year.
Yeah.
Not so many this year. The basketball season, mercifully, is about to end, Muse. They play Kentucky. Oh, man. They'll lose tonight.
Yeah.
At Rupp. I'm trying to get a line on this. Let's see. They are a... Want to guess? Have you looked?
17.
12.5.
Oh, all right. My bad.
12.5. And, then you're home against A&M. A&M's lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
A good way to cure that ill.
What's a good way to cure that ill?
Play LSU.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll happen. So, anyway. But, Tigers have lost 3 in a row. They had that 7-game losing streak before they won a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
Upset Oklahoma, dramatic comeback, beat South Carolina. They're going to lose 5 in a row to finish, so they'll end up losing 12 or 14. They'll be a 3-win team. They'll be 3-15 in the conference when this is all said and done. Season will be over. That'll be somewhat merciful. But it could be worse, I promise. Don't believe me? LSU Kentucky on Mardi Gras is a great reminder that it could be worse because it was on Mardi Gras Day in 1994. Give me that Mardi Gras music again, Muse. That'd be good. You know we like a music bed when we do a bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had to get it again. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Paul, our guy's crushing it today.
Killing it.
Oh, come on.
Hey, Paulie, when we do bits, do we ever use music bits for him?
All the time.
Yeah. Feature segments, do we ever use music bits for him?
Feature segments?
Feature segments. Like
around the SEC.
Around the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Tigers in the pros.
All the time.
Our football, picks. Our what to watch.
Every one of them.
Oh, all of them.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Amazing that this one would be any different. You think maybe it's just coincidence, Paulie, or is it the time of day?
Pure coincidence.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Mardi Gras back in 94, Muse, was actually on February the 15th. So the anniversary of this inauspicious day in the history of LSU basketball has already passed, but it was Mardi Gras Day in 1994 when LSU, they were feeling good when Ronnie Henderson hit this three-pointer.
Henderson off the inbound for 3. Still hasn't touched the rim.
Boy.
It has been nothing but net.
Good day over at the PMAC, Muse.
Yeah.
Young Matty Moe, 7th grade, watching that game in my bedroom. Shared a room with my brother watching the game. LSU got up 31. And then they weren't up 31 anymore.
Back to 10, 82-72. They throw it away, and McCarty cuts it to single digits.
Oh, it got worse.
Martinez wants it against Robochenko inside. They can cut it to 6 if that goes, and it does. Oh, my, oh, my.
And then Kentucky took the lead.
Delk.
Tony Delk.
They only needed 2 to tie. Shot clock on the left. Tony Delk to work. McCarty for 3. He got it! Kentucky's ahead!
Tony Delk. It was 68-37.
It was. In the second half.
Oh, I know. Someone want to guard Tony Delk? No. Okay. Proof it could be worse. Does that make you feel better?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No.
They call it the, in Lexington, they call it the Mardi Gras Miracle.
Yeah.
And for that, we owed them the Bluegrass Miracle.
Take
that, losers! You can have the stupid basketball game. We want the Bluegrass Miracle, where you're dumping your coach with Gatorade. Your fans are hanging on the goalpost after Devery Henderson's running in the end zone. You dorks. Some LSU fan in a cow suit celebrating on the field, mocking Kentucky players. Eat that, losers. All right, if Muse can figure out how to say words, he'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com. Action Industries Incorporated. Hey, remember, over at Action Industries, love telling you about the Advanced Turnaround Group. We are in that time of year, y'all. The Advanced Turnaround Group over at Action Industries. March to October, as you know, is turnaround season. So this is the time to go discover the Advanced Turnaround Group if you haven't already. Action Industries, within the Advanced Turnaround Group, they have assembled a core group of people that have built their career specifically on turnaround execution. They're not just taking workers from other parts of the company and throwing them into the turnaround world. This is a different pool of resources. It's the same company at Action Industries, but this is a completely different arm. Workers that are proficient in turnaround work. They're turnaround managers, turnaround coordinators. They can target at your turnaround work and getting it done with safety and with great quality. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group over there at Action Industries.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable. And
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Happy Mardi Gras, y'all. Hope making it a good one. Got the day off. Good on you. Eat, drink, be merry, revel, and then tomorrow get your behind to church. Although it is not a holy day of obligation. Big misconception. Muse, you going to get your ashes tomorrow?
Yeah.
Get your ash to church, Muse.
Get your ash to church. I'm really excited for the seafood binge that's about to happen.
It's not really a sacrifice around here.
No, it's not.
I was talking to Chef Layton over at Supper Club today. He's like, yeah, we got Lane come and remind people we've got Alaskan king crab and Chilean sea bass. I'm like, boy, rough. Tell you what.
Tough sledding,
the
man.
Lenten sacrifice that we make over here. Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
One of the spring training games that was yet to get underway yesterday when we did Tigers in the pros ended up featuring a former Tiger making his debut, and that would be Gage Jump. You'll remember Gage Jump, second-round pick of the Athletics in last summer's draft.
You will remember that, or else.
Or else. One perfect inning for Jump, 2 strikeouts, got the save in his spring training debut with the A's. Speaking of those A's, they're facing the Rangers here today, and Josh Smith made his presence felt.
Let's go.
1 for 3.
Of course he did.
Dinger.
Got him.
Solo shot in the 4th. First of the spring. Played right field today. He's kind of been all over the place. Hitting 316. Doing really well. Should have been an all-star last year.
Should have been.
Well, they just keep coming for you here, Matt. Austin Nola. 2 for 2 today in the Rockies win. One of those was a double, his first of the spring. He's hitting 375 so far.
Oh, is that good?
That's pretty good. He was stranded on base, though, both the times he reached. So single and a double, and the Rockies couldn't get him around. That kind of seems like a them problem. Lastly, another great game for Duop Reith. Here to second on a back-to-back. 13 and 5. 5 of 6 from the floor and 18 minutes off the bench. Atta babe. +6. Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Michelli weighing and measurement. Michelli.com. More than 30 offices across a dozen different states. Oh, yeah. Born and bred right there in New Orleans, where they opened up their doors back in 1947. 75 years. More than 75 years. Incredible, man. Great local business that's grown to now more than 30 locations across 13 different states, from sea to shining sea. Florida to California, Oregon, points in between. You weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. They're our nation's largest distributor of scales, ISO 17025 accreditation. If you don't know Michelli, you need to. Michelli. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. Michelli. All right, Willie B in 20 minutes. When we come back, we'll kick off hour number 3. LSU baseball still on schedule. Play North Dakota State tonight. Give you a preview of the Tigers and the Bison. Stick around.
After further review.
Yo, it is Mardi Gras. I'll tell you who's working today. Friends over at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. Think about it on days like this, where it's rainy, it's windy, driving conditions are inherently unsafe. It's on days like this and every day that it gives me peace of mind when I get behind the wheel of my Volkswagen. I drive a Crossport, the Atlas Crossport. Of course, the Atlas is the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. The Crossport just takes out the third row. A little shorter, a little sleeker, all the great luxury interior items. when you drive a Volkswagen, you're driving a vehicle that's among the safest on the road, highest safety designation by the IHS. Great German engineering. Manufactured in the USA at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant, and at South Point Volkswagen, they'll always give you the best deal. Work out your financing online, shop them online, or go test drive one today. Airline just north of Highland. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Coming off his historic season, Saquon Barkley will become the highest paid running back in NFL history and the first $20 million plus per year running back. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting he and the Eagles agreed on a 2-year, $41 million extension. Vikings did not franchise tag quarterback Sam Darnold by the deadline. They're still interested in working to re-sign him. The Jets released receiver Devontae Adams, saving $30 million in cap space. Cowboys restructured receiver CeeDee Lamb's contract, creating $20 million in cap space. No shortage of positions Dallas could spend some of that money on, notes ESPN's Tim Hasselbeck.
Running back is probably the position where I think they could maybe get the most bang for their buck in terms of impact on their football team. I also think when you look at a complimentary receiver, I think looking at tight end, and you flip to the defensive side of the ball, I do think that you start to look at the secondary as places you can spend money.
NBA, another injury hit for the Mavericks, and it is a massive one. Kyrie Irving torn ACL in his left knee, out for the rest of the season. Irving, Dallas's best overall player this year, $43 million player option for next season.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Matthew Tarantino Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Quitting time, that is, if you work today. But considering it's Mardi Gras, guessing a lot of you had the day off. That's awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did the whole parade thing, hope you were safe and had a great time. If you didn't, all good. You just had the day off or you're working like us, all good, man. Glad to be here. LSU baseball going to play tonight, 6:30 first pitch against North Dakota State. Rain came through the Baton Rouge area, a lot of winds that a lot of people experienced. Supposed to be cleared out and nice by the time first pitch is scheduled. I was told earlier this afternoon they wanted to get this game in tonight no matter what. I kind of thought that if given the option, maybe they'd end up playing, move to play a doubleheader tomorrow because they're playing today and then tomorrow. But as I understand it, Jay wanted to get this game in today. So, of course, they can cover the infield when it rains. The outfield at the box drains exceptionally well, and the rain gets through here, and they can feel like they can get the game in safely. Awesome. I think they were kind of worried about, with all the high wind and the rain and stuff today, maybe power outages or things, but it feels like maybe in this area anyway. I mean, we're 5 minutes from the box down the road. That feels like kind of been spared of a lot of that. So, awesome. Looks like LSU and North Dakota State will get it in tonight. North Dakota State's not good at all. And they were 1-9. They beat UT Rio Grande Valley 10-3. I'm sorry, 7-5. That's their only win. Now they stink, y'all. I'll tell you, I have not seen them play. Well, how can you be so? You may be asking yourself, Scone, how can you be so sure that they stink if you haven't seen them play?
Scone, how can you be so sure they stink if you haven't seen them play?
Glad you asked. I understand, Muse, that early in the season, you may not have a large sample size of games, so sometimes statistics could reflect that. You could have dudes batting like .764. You've had 8 at-bats on the year. It can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But through 10 games, when your cumulative batting average, like all the dudes on the team, the whole season long, cumulative team batting average is 197. You stink.
Yeah, that's not good.
One of the guys is hitting 400.
That's pretty good.
But everybody else stinks. And then you know how else you know they're not good?
How?
Their staff ERAs, like all the staff, like all the guys
every
together.
Pitcher, yeah,
take them
every
all
pitcher
together, throw them in a pot, stir up that gumbo, and spit out the ERA through 10 games.
What is it?
11.
Ugh.
So if you don't know how ERA works, that's the average number of runs you give up over 9 innings. So the Bison are giving up 11 runs a game. I think this is a game where you just like, it's like when LSU plays Grambling in football. You go, let's just focus on us. Let's just focus on us today. The final score, we're going to name that whatever it's going to be. Let's just make sure we go out there and we don't commit stupid pre-snap penalties, and we don't pull a Nuss like against Southern where he's going to the sideline and just flips the ball over his head to some kid who then gets a pick six. Like, let's not do that. Let's tackle. When the ball hits you in the hands, catch it. Let's do that. Let's just be efficient with the way we operate. Don't need any delay of games, burning timeouts because we don't have the operation. Like that. That's the sort of stuff. That's kind of what I think you're worried about today. Now, it is baseball, and weird things happen. As Roger Cador, the great Roger Cador once said, you could hit a ball 400 feet and it's an out. You could hit a ball 4 feet and it's a hit. But that's baseball, Josh. I said that to Josh Ennis when we were doing a show together. I love that line. It's so true. That's baseball. So weird things happen in baseball. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that if LSU just throws the ball over the plate and doesn't walk 15 guys, they're going to be pretty good in this game. And if when LSU's batting, they hit the ball instead of swinging and missing at bad pitches, they're probably going to score a lot of runs. Probably a safe assumption. I, in this game, would be most interested in seeing who starts. Is it Schmidt or Ware? They're going to play today and tomorrow. One's going to be Schmidt, one's going to be Ware. I don't know how they're going to do it. But, those two guys, we've talked about it since the beginning of the season. If anybody wobbles in the weekend rotation, Ware is probably the next guy up. But these two would be the guys, right? So let's see how they look. Whichever one gets the ball today, I'm sure the other one will get the ball tomorrow. Schmidt pitched last Monday, but then pitched the 9th on Saturday. And then Ware pitched Wednesday against Dallas Baptist. So would you bring him back on 1 day short rest of a full week? I think he'd be plenty rested to go out and give you a start today if they wanted to, but they may hold him tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But this isn't one of those where you look at it and you go, all right, lock in for that midweek tilt. This is one where you go, man, they stink. And just, make sure your spikes are laced tight and the jerseys are tucked into the pants and the chalk line is clean and neat and it'll look and feel like a real game, but boy, you're not playing a very good team. And with that said, North Dakota State will no doubt undoubtedly upset LSU tonight.
Yeah.
7-3 and get their second win of the season. LSU is going to walk 17 guys.
Oh, please, no.
They're going to give up a grand slam. It's the kid who hits 400.
Yeah, the one guy who can't beat you.
They're going to want the bases loaded, and old guy's going to get a grand slam. No, they're going to be. It's going to be 4-3. That's what you're going to be leading 3-0, and that dude's going to get a grand slam. Lose 4-3.
Don't do that.
Oh man, wouldn't that be something?
No, I mean yes,
it would be something.
It would be something.
It would be something. Oh, but Muse, it doesn't matter, man. You know it as well as I do. Midweek games don't matter. I don't need to start this whole thing right now.
I think you should.
It's
been a while.
It's just they're going to lose eventually in the midweek, and we'll talk about it, and people melt, and I'll tell you the same thing like when that whole thing started back in 2017, and I was like, they lost to South Alabama, and the guys running out there were like Hunter Keel and
I think his name was it Hunter? Yeah, Hunter Keel.
Gunner Keel.
Gunner Keel was the quarterback who didn't have the chest. Yeah,
he didn't have the chest.
He didn't have the chest.
Hunter. Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
No, it was Hunter. Yeah, it was Hunter.
It was Hunter.
It was Hunter. Yeah, Gunner, Hunter. It's similar. We need to get Sharif on to give me a rule. I mean, there's dudes that weren't even on the postseason roster that were thrown in that game. It just doesn't matter, huh?
I think they went 7-8 in midweek games that year or something like that.
No.
I think so, yeah, and played for the national championship.
There's no way they had a losing record in the midweek.
Maybe not. Maybe they were like 9-8. I don't know how many you play, but they lost 7 or 8 midweek games that year. And then were the number 3 national seed and played for the national championship.
Please tell me why midweek games matter.
Oh
my God.
Fun conversation.
No, it's not at all. All right, it's after further review. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. Real quick. Of course, today the weather's terrible. The high wind, the heavy rain. Already had a bunch of calls today, people. Roof leaks, shingles being blown off with the wind. If you're in the path of this weather, you have any issues, give us a shout. Love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Go to the website. You actually have a video with Coach Mulkey on the homepage of the website right there if you're interested. Just fill out the form on the homepage. It's probably the easiest way to do it. If you ever want, I'm more than happy to help facilitate. You can shoot me a text on the show text line. You can email me. I'm always more than happy to help facilitate. But the easiest thing to do is just go to the website, parishbuilt.com, fill out the form on the homepage, boom, you are automatically ingested in our system. We're alerted. Your lead gets assigned, and one of our inspectors will be in touch to schedule being out at your house just as quickly as possible. So if you had issues with any of this weather, we'd love to help you out, servicing the entire state of Louisiana, so give us a shout. 364-1007 if you want to call, 364-1007. Go to parishbuilt.com. Commercial roofs, residential roofs, repairs, replacements. We have our own gutter division, like a whole separate crew that all they do is gutters. We fabricate our own metals. We do the whole thing. We have a soft wash crew as well, so you want to clean the roof, get all that algae off the roof, soft wash it, beautify it. We do the whole exterior of your home and the sidewalks, driveway, do all that as well. We can handle all of it. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com. All right, Will Blackwell is coming up here in just a bit. I want to get kind of like a little spring preview for the offensive line with Willie B. We are also at the bottom of this hour, after we talk to Will. Jimmy will be here. Otter Locks already posted up at LouisianaSports.net if you want the picks for tonight. Greg Sankey is now endorsing a 9-game SEC schedule. And I want to talk about how we got to this point and what the likelihood is of it happening moving forward. So we'll get to that at the bottom of this hour. So give me about 15 minutes. When we come back, we'll talk some LSU football, former Tiger All-American Will Blackwell. Then we'll talk with Sankey, future scheduling, all that good stuff, and then Otter Locks to wrap up the hour. It's AFR.
AFR.
Even though it's Mardi Gras, you can still reach out to our friends at Glow Resources because, well, it's only Mardi Gras here. And the rest of the world, it's Tuesday and people are working. And Glow Resources has offices all over the country, servicing businesses not only all over the country, but all over the world. So go to glowresources.com, G-L-O, glowresources.com. I love telling you about this success story. I mean, Glow Resources, their corporate headquarters on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, right near Pennington. It's Perkins and Quail Oak, actually, is where they're on that corner, near Pennington. And they've maintained that local ownership, but they've grown to be this enormous company that helps businesses all over the world staff their jobs. They specialize in skilled blue-collar labor, so if you need skilled blue-collar workers, welders, pipe fitters, crane operators, they can help you find the right people. But they also have a professional placement division, so any type of office or white-collar job, even C-level management, Glow Resources can help you find the right people. G-L-O, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
They do Mardi Gras up in West Monroe. You know? They do Mardi Gras in West Monroe?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Let's ask somebody who would know. Former Tiger All-American, old Willie B. Will Blackwell joins us now. How are you, dude?
Well, man, you got slim pickings on a Fat Tuesday, huh?
Do y'all do Mardi Gras up there?
Yeah, we do. You know, the official Fat Tuesday is not as big of a deal, but we get our parades in on the weekend.
Okay. All right. I didn't know how far. How far north?
You know, we're kind of in between New Orleans, Baton Rouge. I mean, New Orleans and Mobile. You know, I guess New Orleans is the real deal, Mobile's not, and we're like kind of somewhere.
You're still in Louisiana, so it's more of a party than in Mobile, but not.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, God. I mean, nowhere else in the world does Mardi Gras like New Orleans. Obviously, I mean, it's what it is. But okay, that's good to know. I didn't know like how the rest of the state celebrates, or if they celebrate the farther away you get from New Orleans, the physical distance. Is it lessened? I don't know. Like, I think probably
San Juan. Within the state border, there's still potential for crazy party time. So.
Right. Love that. Hey, look, the Tigers are going to start spring practice on Saturday. Let me just ask you about a big picture, overarching picture. What do you think, like how valuable do you think spring practice is?
You know, Matt, that's a really good question. I think it kind of depends on where you are with your roster. You know, like take for us, for example, 2011, spring of 2011. I mean, did we really get that much accomplished? No, because we already had, 15 returning starters. You had an experienced quarterback. So you kind of going through the motions with the starters. Now, a team like this year, when you're losing your entire offensive line, big-time receivers, you do have your quarterback back. But, you know, with the interior and, the nucleus of that offense really kind of being brand new minus Chester, it's going to be tough, and those guys probably need to get as many reps as they possibly can.
Do you think you're going to have a lot of veteran players, Will, but transfers mean they're new players? Right,
I guess that's a better – yeah, you're right.
No. You're right. You're losing a lot. So the question I'm asking is, you have these guys that have experience, but they haven't played together. So how do you sort of, rectify that? Is it still the same as if you had like new green players, or is it easier because you have veteran players?
Yeah, man, I think back in the day it was a lot easier to build a program, and it was this kind of long-term project of let's get these 20 guys, and if we can keep 15 of them together every year, then in 3 or 4 years we're going to have a solid core group of seniors and leaders, and it's going to be our program, and everything that we want to do is implemented. Well, now it's a lot like the NFL. It's year by year, right? So you're only buying loyalty, or you're only buying a teammate for 8, 10, 12 months. So I think it's just a shift in perspective. I don't think it necessarily changes like the fundamental aspect of everyone having to be cohesive and be on the same page. It just expedites that timeline, and everything is just more important in sooner time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Will Blackwell's our guest, former Tiger All-American offensive lineman. You're going to see some guys very likely have a position change. You mentioned DJ Chester. Like, he's probably moving back to his natural position of guard. Josh Thompson, a transfer coming in from Northwestern, has played both guard and tackle. probably going to slide in at guard. What do you do over these 15 practices? Will these spring practices that would be beneficial for those guys that might be switching position?
Man, I think it really goes back to like the team building part of things, right? You mentioned these guys have some experience, so they ought to be able to get into the playbook and kind of decipher the terminology. It's always going to be a little bit different between teams, but the real focus is how do I get this transfer guy from the Northeast and this kid from Texas and then this 5-star from Florida to all believe in each other and to play together, because everybody knows, you'll hear us talk about it year after year. The only thing that really matters with a good offensive line is playing together, right? So I think Brian Kelly and Brad Davis have to do whatever they can, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the classroom, in the weight room, extracurricular activities, whatever it is. These guys have to be able to trust each other to do the right thing every play.
Well, do you think when you were watching, especially like in the bowl game, the young tackles like Tyree Adams, Weston Davis, saw Bo Bordelon play some tackle as well. I don't know how closely you watched it, but like, as I understand it, they looked for tackles in the portal. They didn't land one. Josh Thompson, who they got, can play tackle, but I think they prefer him to play guard. But that's going to be contingent upon like Adams, Davis, somebody locking down those tackle spots. What do you see with those guys? What were your observations watching guys like Adams and Davis, the young tackles, kind of play?
I was encouraged, man. I was kind of think it was nice to see those guys get in there. They played with some fire, some tenacity. They didn't squander their chance or say, "Oh, this is a bowl game. Nobody's really watching." They played well, and it's kind of tough, especially when you're playing behind a guy that's going to be a first rounder and another guy that's going to go on the second day. It's hard to stay focused and checked in. So, you got to commend those guys for being young and staying with the game plan for, almost a month before they actually get to play. So that's good. That's good practice for the season when you got to do that every single week. And of course, anytime a young guy gets in there, you look for him to be fresh-legged and a little excited. But then again, going back to your first question, this is going to be a team where spring ball is probably going to come into play and be a bit of a benefit for them if they can figure out the right things to do to bring everybody together and figure out who's going to play where.
You switched positions, right, from D-line to offensive line?
Yes.
Do you think – so for the young guys coming in, some of them highly touted, Will, like, do you think that one of those guys is capable? Having not seen him, like I haven't seen him, I don't know if you have. Like Carius Kern played high school football in Arkansas, but he's like a 5-star, right? Solomon Thomas is from Florida, but he's like a 5-star. Like, do you think those guys would be capable as freshmen of coming in and winning a starting job over some of the veterans that are ahead of them?
I mean, obviously, we look at a few things when we talk about offensive linemen. One's probably going to be experience because it is a mentally tough position to play. And 2, athleticism. 3, strength. Well, one of those things you can teach, and the other 2 you can't, Matt.
Right.
So if somebody comes in, and occasionally they are, perfect example, Lyle Collins, freaking nature.
Yeah.
Had me scared to death my entire senior year, thinking that I was going to be taking my spot from a freshman. Well, luckily I was able to overachieve and didn't have to worry about that. But had we not had myself and T-Bob, who started a bunch of games, TJ Lonergan, Lyle Collins would have had his butt in there starting from day one. So, yes, you want to see a guy that knows what to do, and obviously the playbook is the most important aspect, but strength and size can make up for a lot of that. So, guys that are coming in that are high 4-stars, 5-stars, they're already going to have that physical advantage. So, yeah, I think that as long as those guys want it and there is an opportunity provided by Coach Davis, then why not? Especially given the recent turn of events when freshmen are playing on every team every year now.
I know. Does having a veteran quarterback, or how does having a veteran quarterback like Nusmeier help the offensive line maybe come along a little more quickly? Or does it?
Oh, 100%. You know, it's always so frustrating when the quarterback is unsure, but it's equally as confidence-inducing when the quarterback knows everything. And I think Nusmeier going into this year, on all accounts, would probably be considered, a top 3 returning starter in all of college football. And so, you know, with the time spent and invested in him, I would imagine that he'll be able to carry these guys. And, you know, when you get in those situations where it's like, hey, man, game's on the line, who's going to step up? You want everybody in that huddle looking at your QB for something to do. And, you know, I think Nussmeier's ready to be that guy.
Are you bullish on this team for 2025?
100%.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah, because of Nusmeier. This is the game now, Matt. You got the number 1 signal caller. He's got experience. He's played all over the place, home, away, neutral. He's seen all the looks. He's made the mistakes. And I think it's time for him to finally put all that together and lead this team. I mean, I've seen some of your posts. I saw that you're going to hammer. What's the 8.5 is the win total they got us at?
I don't know, man. That feels wild to me. 8.5. God bless. If they go 8-4,
if we don't win 9 games, then we got to burn the house down.
Oh my! I mean, Will, the example I keep giving is the comp is Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss did this year what LSU did. Fifth-year senior in Jackson Dart. They went ham in the portal, fortified the line of scrimmage, added athletes, right? And brother, they lost 3 games, but that's on Lane Kiffin. I mean, losing at home to Kentucky is inexcusable. That they choked away.
Losing to LSU in overtime.
They choked to LSU, where they led the whole game, never trailed until the final score, and then went on the road at Florida, had 3 possessions inside the 20, where they went for it 3 times, kicking a field goal. Any of those possessions, they win the game. Like, that's on Kiffin. But that's a team that, like, the floor, the worst case scenario for that team was 9-3. Like, I cannot. It is really hard, Will, for me to fathom a scenario where LSU ends up 8-4. If they, and maybe I'm blind to it, and I don't see it, but if this team ends up losing 4 games, I like. It's just not going to happen with Kelly.
Of course, barring injuries or some kind of crazy. Of course, you know, it's kind of different from the last 2 or 3 years where I think we'll actually expect a little bit more out of the defense this year too. Especially if Weeks and Perkins can play like we know that they can and stay healthy, then that'll be an added aspect. But to touch on the Kiffin thing, I completely agree. And, you know, we've always said at the college level that players win the games and coaches lose them. And I think that is a perfect example of what not to do with this new team that we got.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very hard for anybody to go undefeated, which is why it's very impressive what Oregon did this past year. I mean, we forget people talk about Ohio State, greatest this. I'm like, Ohio State lost 2 games. Like they lost to a 500 Michigan team. Like, it is hard to do, but you got to get to 10-2. You're 10-2, you're in the playoff, and then look at your draw and see if you can go make a run. Like, that's got to be that has to be the basement for this team. Like, if they don't get to 10-2 and get in the playoff, it's hard.
Well, I think that's always been our standard, though. I think 10 games has always kind of been the goal. Maybe it is a little bit lofty given, you know, our overall past, but I think at LSU, the fans and the coaches and the players all expect to win 10 games every year.
It can be the expectation. It doesn't mean it's always a realistic expectation.
Unfortunately.
This year it's realistic. I think we agree on that.
100%.
Willie B, good to chat, man. Always appreciate the time. Glad you're doing well. I'm sure we'll see you this fall, if not sooner. You can be in town for any baseball games?
Yes, man. When I come in town, I'd love to see you. So you'll have a happy Mardi Gras.
Holler, dude. We'll swing by Don Juan with T-Bob, and we'll go get crazy.
Hell yeah. Be good.
All right, man. We'll see you. That's Will Blackwell, former Tiger All-American. Great dude. Good perspective, too. I love when the former guys keep up with the team, and they're like so still into the day-to-day and what's happening. It's because they can give you great perspective on what it was like and what it is now. So really appreciate Will for a couple of minutes. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Speaking of T, he's down at Disney. Y'all know that. A lot of people, man. Jake's out on the road as well this week. A lot of people traveling for Mardi Gras week. A lot of people get out of Dodge. Hey, listen, if you're traveling and when you get back, you find you got issues with your vehicle, maybe you put those miles on the tires. Time for new tires. Shaw Bills. Maybe you need the tires rotated. Shaw Bills. alignment, brake squeaking, check engine light, oil change, all of it. Shawbills, 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 Shawbills. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shop tires, schedule service, chat with an associate. It's all there, easy at the website. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card. The Shawbills credit card gets you it's like a credit card for your vehicle. It gives you VIP pricing, and you don't have to pay anything, no interest for 6 months. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. Okay, lineups posted for LSU and North Dakota State. We'll run through it here in a smidge when we come back. And also, as we mentioned, Greg Sankey now seemingly endorsing, a 9-game schedule for SEC football. We'll work through that as we continue Otter Locks in about 15 minutes here on AFR.
AFR.
Carnival's in the rearview mirror. Y'all, spring is staring us straight in the face. That means it is time to get by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. The best selection with shipments arriving daily. Y'all, check out the Clegg's Facebook page. Always encourage you to do that because they do such a good job of keeping everything up to date there. Whenever they get new shipments of anything in, boom. This was, 2 hours ago. Cordy line, containers, landscape, bed, foliage. You can check it out. They got them in over at Clegg's Nursery. This was posted 2 hours ago on their Facebook page. Whenever they get something new in, new shipments in, they're great about posting it, so you can always see what the latest things they have are there. They got Johnny Naylor seeds, all your garden tools that you need, even the things to keep the pests away in the spring, or right now to spray for weeds to get ahead of the curve there. They got you. Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-3.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
The dramatic pause. That's what really sells the song, doesn't it?
So good.
You know, I don't love when they play this in the Dome after touchdowns.
That's not great. It doesn't get the hype that you need after a touchdown.
I mean, there is a uniqueness to it. Like, there's literally no other stadium that's going to play this after a touchdown. But then after, obviously, the PA team for the kickoff, then when they'll go into stand up and get crunk.
That's much better.
That used to hit. Like, when they were winning and good, it felt awesome. Scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter of a game when you're down 36 and then they play crunk, it just doesn't feel the same.
This feels much more like a good song like for a timeout. Kind of that break in the action.
Yeah. Or between innings at the box, where LSU will play tonight. I like it, Muse.
I like that one.
Professional radio guy transition. Lineups posted LSU and North Dakota State. The Bison. They're good at football. They're not good at baseball. All right, Connor Ware is going to get the ball. I mean, look, we knew it was going to be Ware or Schmidt. One would start tonight, one would start tomorrow. It'll be Ware tonight. The JUCO lefty who was really good last week against Dallas Baptist in Arlington. Connor Ware will get the ball for the Tigers tonight. We'll see how deep he goes into the ball game, which means no doubt Schmidt will get the ball tomorrow. The top three unchanged. Curiel in left, Jones at first, Dickinson at second. 1, 2, 3. Josh Pearson will DH fresh off. What an incredible weekend he had. My goodness. Muse, I don't know if you heard, he was MVP of the tournament this weekend.
I did.
Did you hear that?
I did. I thought it was almost a certainty. At least I was told it was almost a certainty that Danny Dickinson was going to be.
It feels
MVP.
like a lot of people were going to vote for Dickinson as the MVP.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I heard a couple different times. I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. But he didn't win it though.
He did not. No, Josh Pearson.
Yeah.
MVP.
Who would you have had on your ballot, Muse?
I would have had Derek Curiel.
Oh,
maybe not as the MVP, but he'd have been an outfielder. Yeah, I would have had him in the outfield. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Got it.
What about you? Yeah. Anybody?
Hadn't really looked.
Hadn't really looked. Yeah.
No. Didn't give it a single thought. Didn't know they had an all tournament team at the.
They do
at the Frisco Classic.
Frisco.
Until I was reminded about the all tournament team at the Frisco Classic, over and over and over and over.
In the third inning, in the fourth inning,
the bottom of the fourth.
Middle of the fifth.
Middle. I don't want to be too. Anyway, if you're not, suffice to say that there was a lot of conversation about the all tournament team on Sunday during the broadcast, the D1 baseball broadcast, not the LSU radio broadcast, the D1 baseball broadcast. There was an excessive amount of talking about the all tournament. It almost felt like Ben McDonald was just uncomfortable with the whole thing.
Yeah,
why do you keep asking about the alternative?
I answered this once. Last inning.
All right, we got to stop. All right, here you go. So Curiel, Jones, Dickinson, Pearson, Milam, Brown, who'll be in right field. Pearson, DH, Brown, and right. So a couple of lefties in the lineup. And then Aaron Beatty will get the start behind Dish tonight. Then Braswell and Stanfield batting 8th and 9th. So Curiel, Jones, Dickinson, Pearson, Milam, Brown, Aaron Beatty, Braswell, Stanfield. That's how they'll line it up tonight against North Dakota State. I like it. I want to see how deep Connor Ware can go into the ball game. My guess is the lefty throwing mid-90s is going to be a challenge for North Dakota State. So let's see if Ware can go over there, throw strikes, get through this lineup maybe 3 times, call it a day, and hand it off to whoever will be next in the bullpen. And offensively, you would assume LSU is going to have a heck of a day. Went through some of the numbers earlier. This is a North Dakota State team that's cumulative team batting average is 197, and their staff ERA is north of 11. They're 1-9. This is just not a very good baseball team. So, and a lot of teams struggle, right, from the north when they have to go away for that southern tour basically for a month before their field thaws out and they can start playing outdoors. But it's really not been great for North Dakota State. So this is one of those games for LSU. Get out there, stretch the legs, throw the ball over the plate, swing the bat, and have some success the next 2 days. Continue to fine-tune some things here before you get to conference play a week from Friday. But that's how they'll line it up tonight. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. I have a minute here, so let me tell you about First South Farm Credit. I want to get to what Greg Sankey said about the 9-game schedule. Then we'll get to Otter Locks. FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. It doesn't matter if you want to buy 1,000 acres for agriculture. You want 100 acres for your hunting property in Mississippi or Texas, or the 20 acres in Covington, in Tangipahoa Parish, in St. Francisville to build your family's dream home. They can help you do it. Your first call when it comes to buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, because for more than 100 years, our friends at First South Farm Credit have done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, it's after further review. An ongoing conversation amid all the conference realignment has been the SEC scheduling. We had a chance 2 summers ago, summer 23 on AFR with Greg Sankey, to talk about the possibility of an expanded conference schedule. Here's what Greg Sankey said July of 23 to us.
I don't think money leads you in these decisions. It follows. And elements of that are what's going to happen with the college football playoff. We have programs that are very intent on bowl access. Third is, where do we prioritize rivalry games? What we have done with the removal of divisions is allow our teams to play each other more frequently across the entire conference. I think that's really healthy. Conversations with TV are part of it, but they're not at the forefront, and I don't think they should be. If you make really good decisions, you're going to have economic opportunities.
That's true. 2 things he said there that matter. There were teams focused on bowl eligibility. Because remember, I'll tell you the teams. It's the Kentuckys and Mississippi States of the world that these coaches need to get to 6 wins to get to bowl eligibility. Well, if you give them another conference game, that means you're taking away one of their rental wins. You're taking away the FCS or one of the lowly G5s that's a rental win. And you're giving them an SEC game, which could very likely be a loss. You're trading a win for a loss effectively for those schools. So how do you get them on board with that? That is a tough challenge to get them to vote yes there. Well, it's got to make sense financially. And then obviously it has to make sense for the playoff, because without an expanded playoff, you're guaranteeing half of your league another loss. So without an expanded playoff, you have to be guaranteed access. Well, as they're talking about now, going to 4 guaranteed spots for the SEC and the Big Ten, well, you can add a 9th game, because it's going to make more revenue for your league, and you're still going to have 4 teams in the playoff no matter what. This is what Greg Sankey talked about, the potential for a 9-game schedule when he visited with Feinbaum on Monday.
We look at the next few months as being really important to gather information, to talk about either opportunities or obstacles that may be in the way. To the extent we can answer that, like what's the priority of bowl qualification in the future? That's still an important issue. Trying to understand how the selection committee for the CFP made decisions is really important. And one of the issues in the room for our athletics directors is what seemed to matter most is the number to the right, the number of losses. And how do we understand what that means for our schedule moving forward? I'm one who said, I really think we ought to be trying to move towards a 9-game conference schedule. I think that can be positive for a lot of reasons. You watch the interest around conference games, but not if that causes us to lose opportunities. And I can make some associations around that, and that's part of our thinking for our own schedule. That doesn't necessarily guide CFP decision-making, but I do think it's important to understand how selection decisions are made, and we only have 1 year of that experience as we go to make another decision about our schedule format.
Can you understand why forever I've been sitting here pounding the table about an expanded playoff and 9-game league schedule? Because you know what you're going to get? These are the things that fall in line. You expand the playoff to a true playoff, and you're going to see better regular season matchups. Because teams aren't afraid to go play Clemson week 1 at Clemson, because that loss, if you take it, isn't going to cripple your opportunity. So you could just as well schedule Wake Forest, because that's a Power 5 game or Power 4 game, and that meets your criteria. But what do you want to see? As a fan, what would you rather see? As a fan, like, wouldn't you rather watch LSU play a home-and-home with Clemson? Like, isn't that good for a fan instead of watching LSU play South Alabama? Wouldn't you rather see another SEC game, a 9th SEC game, instead of Nichols coming to Tiger Stadium? Of course. Well, in order to be able to do that, Greg Sankey's telling you, you got to have, it can't cause you access. You're not going to cut off your nose to spite your face. You're not going to risk playoff appearances to play a regular season game when the rest of the country can go play, go into the layup line. But we're getting there. An expanded playoff will get a better regular season schedule. It's a better product all the way around for college football fans, which is what we want. And they're all going to make more money, and the players are going to make more money from revenue share. The fans are going to get to see a better product. We're going to stop pretending like we should care about LSU against Grambling. We're moving in the right direction, y'all. It's hard for people to see, I know. But there's going to be a day when you play a 12-game schedule of nothing but Power 4, and it's going to be awesome. And you're going to have a true playoff like you do in every other sport, and it's going to be awesome. The same way the College World Series is awesome, and March Madness is awesome, and the NFL playoffs are awesome. And you can have some blowouts, yes. We just watched a Super Bowl that was a rout. It happens. But you're going to have a true playoff. You're going to have access, and that's going to be a ton of fun. Playoff games in Tiger Stadium, y'all, it's going to be freaking amazing. We're getting there. Getting there. All right, final break. Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always go to the website, getgordon.com, getgordon.com, see all the different types of cases that they handle. You can see, actual client results, the types of damages that they've recovered for their clients. More than $3 billion they've recovered in damages for their clients. It's incredible. You could be next. If you've been injured, it's not about being litigious. It's about getting what you deserve, what you're entitled to. Let Gordon and his staff go to bat for you. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. And as we always encourage you, if you want to learn more about the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Gordon Gives. That's the charitable arm. You want to see about some of their promotions and giveaways. You get sponsorship requests. You want to learn more about the G team. You can do it all there at gordongives.com. You know what to do, y'all. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Our final segment here on a Mardi Gras edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Big shout out to our friends over at Sunshine. Make sure you get to sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. All right, final segment. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otter Locks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
What's up, Matthew? How about you? Doing good, buddy. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi
Happy
Gras.
Tuesday.
Yeah, man. Best day of the year. You know, just Tuesday. Tuesday for all of us out here that aren't standing on the side of the road trying to catch crappy plastic beads.
I can't remember Zulu ever rolling at 6:30 in the morning. Now I got to tell you that. So that's a new one.
My senior year of high school, we caught Zulu, and that it was an early morning. I remember like leaving Baton Rouge when it was still dark. Getting lost a few times somewhere around the lakefront. That's what happens when you take the 610 instead of the 10. Is you're blinded by the sun. But anyway, good memories. Been there, done that. You know, move on with life and keep on living. You know what I mean? All that good stuff.
Yes. All right, South Carolina, they're not off to a good start. That's a 5 p.m. start. They're down. Georgia, man, I'm waiting for them to exhale. But we had them last week. We liked them in that spot, desperate spot against Florida. They played great and held on to win. They go to Texas, and by far their best road victory of the season. And now they are up 11. Look, it's a long way to go, but this line moved to that, and this is why it's important to check the picks early to get the early starts and get the picks, but also we may add some at the end, and we also may strengthen our stance in. And also lighten it. This thing went to plus 1.5. When I gave it to Hunt, it was -1. So there's a lot of things that changed a little bit.
Okay.
Seton Hall is a bad team that's all of a sudden playing pretty good basketball. They got Creighton tonight. Creighton got smashed this past weekend. Now they're trying to get back up. That's a lot of points to be laying on the road against a team that's all of a sudden interested and giving everybody a hard time. They gave St. John's all they could handle at St. John's. St. John's eventually came back and won by about 8 or 10, but it was very, very tight, very late. Seton Hall, the Pirates, it's just Ian Holloway's crew, plus 9.5 there.
Okay.
A&M, plus 4.5, the stinky line. All the Musgrove, get that Roto-Rooter ready, boy. This is a stinky line. Auburn, they win the league outright. I don't know if you saw the video on the plane. We ain't sharing. Now they have this game, and they've got Bama at home to end the season. If they're going to exhale, desperate spot here for A&M. They just need to play better. A&M plus a 4.5 at home. And then Iowa State minus 8.5, a home and away splits. Both teams are really tough at home, not so good on the road. BYU's hot, but they got to go to Ames tonight. We're taking Iowa State. And then Indiana plus 6.5. Since they fired Mike Woodson, he didn't have to recruit. He didn't have to pander him. Didn't have to babysit. He can just coach, and they are playing a lot better. That should be a tight game. We're taking a 6.5.
Picks are up at LouisianaSports.net. South Carolina's in game, but Seton Hall, Texas A&M, Iowa State, and Indiana, your Otter Locks for tonight. Where are you tomorrow?
Ash Wednesday at Modesto on Burbank.
All right, Otter, we appreciate it, man. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, be well. Muse Pauly, thanks. Have an awesome night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
All right, as we get on down the road, let me remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. But as Brandon Holly will always say, their number one product is customer satisfaction. That's not a throwaway line. He actually means it. Brandon says it all the time. Brandon will tell me, Matt, As a business owner, you have to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. And he lives that every day. At Relief Windows, it really is about their reputation, their brand, their name, and making sure that you are thrilled with the level of service they provide. Listen, the windows are gorgeous. The product speaks for itself. Highest quality products, windows, doors, siding, and shutters. But that's also a commodity. Lots of people can sell windows, doors, siding, and shutters. The experience, the quality, the service is what has always set Relief Windows apart.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.